Will the Niners make a blockbuster trade? Are they all in? Will Brock Purdy get paid? Is Myles Garrett going to be a 49er? There's a lot to talk about. We're going to cover it all on the 49 Problem.
Yeah, this is Kyle Shanahan. You are now tuning into the 49 Problems, where these two guys try to act like they know more than me. All they do is talk shit. 100% unfiltered, uncut fan reactions. Here to talk about all the drama. And now your hosts, Kyle J. Vigil and Ray J. Garcia. Assholes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 41 of the 49 Problems. Night before the Super Bowl. I'm joined today, as always, with Ray J. Garcia. Cortez J. Cortez, the unpaid intern, has officially made another appearance. He's here on time, not late, like usual. Like I said earlier, when I wear my hat this way, I feel like I'm undercover. So I'm going to turn it around because you guys can't see my face.
Kind of look like a...
I do, huh? If it wasn't for the tattoos, I probably, honestly, in a past life, I think I was a cop.
Like if you watch the first 48, bro.
I do.
You look like one of the guys.
With the cop or the guy that snitches?
Well, there's always the snitch before the snitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always somebody that snitches on the guy that snitch.
I was watching this video the other day. This dude, he was snitching, and they brought him like some chicken and shit, some chicken wings and shit. And like he turned so quick, right?
Yeah, I ain't saying shit.
Well, the cop was like, saying something. He's like, yeah. So when you guys got in the car, he's like, oh, when y'all got in the car, he's like, oh, don't say y'all. When they got in the car, he's all like correcting him and shit. He's all licking his fingers with the chicken. Yeah. So again, right, we're on the eve of the Super Bowl. That's pretty much what everybody's going to be talking about. Today and tonight.
What they've been talking about.
What they've been talking about. You asked me earlier, like what I was doing. I was telling y'all I'm boycotting the fucking Super Bowl. Not literally or figuratively. I'm not really into it right now. Like I really, I've been so burnt out as a 49er fan when it comes to the Super Bowl the past like 4 years because of how close we've been every fucking year. You know what I mean?
Well, they're saying the Super Bowl itself this year is numbers are down as far as ticket sales.
Yeah, we just seen this 1-2 years ago.
Well, not only that, I mean, Philadelphia fan base, it's strictly in Philadelphia.
True. Yeah, they don't really. Yeah.
Kansas City, they've been there, the last 5 years they've been there. You know what I mean? Or what, four of the last 5 years or something like that. So they're on a three-peat. I mean, their fan base can't afford it no more. You know what I mean? It's how long can they keep up with buying tickets and traveling to games?
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just throwing a party. Even if they don't go to games, just throwing a party or,
I honestly don't think those are real fans, Kansas City, but we're currently watching the UFC fights. Dricus Duplessis is the main event. We got
Sean Strickland's the main event.
Versus Dricus?
Yeah.
We got the females fighting tonight.
Oh, this is the co-main event. This is a title fight.
Oh, okay.
Tatiana Suarez.
So we're in 2025. Trump's America is in full effect. A lot of things are in motion. Planes are going down left and right. Tell me about what's going on with your guys'.
I think it's the droids.
Drones?
The drones are shooting down the plane.
I told my girl we're not flying for a minute. Immigration is an issue. Cortez is over here wearing a Mexico hat and full support.
Crying?
It's not that serious, bro. Did you have somebody die on an airplane?
You crying about the drones or Cortez needs a break?
Another thing, like a lot of people have been talking about is how Trump was saying oh, we're not gonna allow the women or the transgenders in sports, women's sports.
He banned it.
Yeah, so I was having this discussion with somebody at work, and he, he was very hardline. He was like, oh yeah, he's like that should never have been allowed. I was like, no, I agree. I was like, but I'm full support that if they do allow it, we should be able to bet on it. And he just gives me the straightest face, He's like, dude, he's like, no, like that's. And I'm like, I'm making a joke, I was like, but I'm saying if it's okay, we should be able to bet on it. And I go, hey, and if that's the case, I was like, if the liberals got what they wanted, then we should be able to bring steroids back to baseball. You know what I mean? Bring steroids back to professional sports. I think the rest of us would be okay with it at the end of the day. Oh, you're gonna let men play women. Okay, cool. We got steroids back in professional sports. And speaking of professional sports, dude, in the sports world, a lot of huge news this week. The Luka Doncic trade. That was huge. So, like, we were talking about this shit at work, right? And I was telling somebody, I was like, man, I was like, all these trades, right? And I was like, and I've been a big Jimmy Butler fan for a minute, right? Even though he's kind of weird. I've followed his career from Chicago to Miami.
But he's an Oregon guy, ain't he?
Well, I don't know about college, but...
No, I think he's a local guy.
Well, so...
I think he's from either up north or Oregon or something.
Yeah.
He's pretty close.
Well, so we were sitting there talking about all these trades, right? And I'm like, man, fucking... what's up with Jimmy Butler? Like, what's going to go on with Jimmy Butler, right? And then literally the next day, dude gets traded to Sacramento.
No, he's in Golden State.
Golden State?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, Golden State. Yeah, you're right.
We got Zach LaVine.
So, but no, so, like, and I thought it was funny because I was never part of, like, I was never really into, like, the Golden State, like, I'm not a Golden State fan, right? Like, I grew up, like, if I was ever attached to basketball, like as a kid, my earliest memories were Michael Jordan, right? Obviously, right? I grew up in the 90s. My mom had me, like, the Chicago Bulls were everywhere. Like, if I wore anything, it was Chicago Bulls. And then early 2000s, obviously, I was a huge basketball fan. I remember the Kings and their little run. That's when, like, for me, like, my little era was when Detroit had their finals. Like, Detroit was a beast-ass team with, remember they had, was it Ben Wallace?
Yeah.
And
Rasheed Wallace.
Ben
Wallace. Fucking.
They had Isaiah, right? The dad?
Isaiah Thomas?
Oh, no, that was way before, huh? I'm tripping.
No, they had a.
I'm tripping.
Oh,
I'm thinking that.
Yeah. They had Rip.
Oh, yeah.
Rip Hamilton.
Yeah.
Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, that was a dope ass finals. So like that was my little era. But yeah, so I grew up like as a fan of the Kings, and then I've always told people like it was easy for me to kind of like, how would you say, like, I never got like super attached. Like it was easy for me to be like a fan of like a basketball player because they do move around a lot more than football players. So like the Kings not being that good for fucking ages, right? Like not even worth watching, dude. Like I couldn't name a single Kings player.
Texas.
I couldn't name a single Kings player for the longest time. You know what I mean? Like so, you know, like over the years, I supported different teams, right? Like, and I think it was easy to kind of be like to contradict most people. So like back when who was Cleveland when LeBron had the super team with the Heat, right? Like they were going up against what, like the Lakers. So like for me, it was easy to be like, oh, like the Heat, you know, when the Heat won their finals.
Celtics
was, yeah, maybe you're right, but it was easy to be like I fuck with the Heat this year or whatever, right? Because they had the big three, and then my number one rule was like I'm never gonna be a Lakers fan, right? Because of the Kings, right? Like I'm from up here, I will never be a Lakers fan. Like I just hands down cannot. I do not like the Lakers. But then for the longest time, I liked the Clippers. I like Blake Griffin. I like Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan. Like I liked what they had there, and then they never finished. And then in that same time was when Golden State took off, and I just like for some reason, like I see so many people bandwagon the Warriors, bro. Like out of nowhere, everyone was a Warriors fan.
It was easy to be a Warriors fan because they took off and they had their. They didn't even have their big three. You know what I mean? Like where Miami had Bosh and LeBron, you know, 2 fucking 6 and fucking 7 foot, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where they hit was the Splash Bros. That's where they hit. They said it.
They had more of a faster tempo offense, and that was the first, like one of the first teams in the league with the fast, you know, where they could fucking move up the court and shoot, you know what I mean? Everybody else was setting up ISO plays and trying to get the ball down in the paint.
Yeah.
And, you know, the big guy was the factor. Now, you get the Warriors and you got Klay Thompson. And, well, before even Steph Curry, you had, what was his name? Where he won Monte Ellis. I think he won offensive MVP or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
The year before. Took Golden State to finals or championship game or something like that.
Back when they still had Doc Rivers?
Player?
Oh, wait, no. Their coach was the other dude, Mark.
I don't know who their coach was, but they had Monte Ellis.
Before they had Steve Kerr, they had a different coach, and they ended up firing him, and then they brought it was Mark something.
Mark Curry.
And then they ended up bringing in, after that, that's when they brought in Kerr.
But they had Monte Ellis when they drafted Steph Curry and Monte Ellis kind of like tried to play the game of either him or me, and they picked Steph over him and traded him. And I think he was on that Washington Bullets team.
Okay.
That where the dude pulled the gun on. They were gambling in the locker room. And
I don't know.
You didn't hear about that?
Nah.
That's why Washington traded their name to the Wizards.
Okay.
Because
the Bullets.
Well, they were the Bullets, and then they had that DC sniper.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It wasn't Ron Artest.
Who for Washington at the time?
Washington.
When he became Meta World Peace?
No. I'm trying to think. There was somebody that fucking took a gun in the locker room because they were gambling. Him and another teammate were gambling.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
I want to say it was Monte Ellis and I don't know. But anyways, he pulled a gun on dude in the locker room and Yeah.
You know, I just thought it was like I was saying, like how I never really tried to be the bandwagon. Like the past couple of years, I was going hard for Boston, and then they just could never do it. They could never finish, right? Like it was always like Golden State, right? So then I started liking the Heat because that's where Jimmy Butler went. He never got that far with the Heat to the finals, and then this past year, fucking Boston Celtics win. And I'm like, well, now I can't rep Boston because then I'd be a bandwagon again. You know what I mean? And then so Jimmy Butler goes to Golden State. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, I think I might finally be a Golden State fan.
You know what? Even though Golden State was doing good and the Kings sucked at the time, I was still a Kings fan.
Yeah.
I mean,
De'Aaron Fox.
I probably watched more Golden State games at the time, but
because they were entertaining. Fuck, most definitely, yeah.
I was a Kings fan, you know what I mean? Fuck when they're breaking 3-point records, you know what I mean?
Fucking balling the fuck out.
Yeah.
I think this fool's doing heroin now.
Maybe.
Hey, you know what's funny? Hey, the other day, the last time he came, right, with us to the pod, or last time he did the pod with us, nodding out, doing the heroin. Do you use the spoon or do you shoot up?
So nobody sees the tracks.
Talking about these are the types of questions you're supposed to be throwing at us at the pod, right? Like, you know, like we could have talked about this. I was like, he's like, you know what he told me? He's like, because eating pussy's kind of gay, right? I was like, gay? I was like, what the fuck, bro? What makes you think it's gay?
Eat pussy.
I was like, what? I was like,
stuck in dick straight as fuck.
I was like, so how do you eat it though? Like you got your booty in there? That's kind of gay. Or you getting down like a sniper? You know what I mean? Like, if you get down like a sniper like that, that's right. How you're supposed to.
You gotta lay on your stomach.
Or you get her on the edge of the bed, so you can just get down. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're eating pussy with your ass in there,
like that,
like a fucking jujitsu fucking move, then you kind of gay, bro. Speaking of gay,
I'd have to say his ass is a big ass.
But yeah, anyways, as we watch this UFC fight, who do you didn't even know anything about, like, if these bras are like any good?
Yeah, so Zhang is the champion, and then the other chick's hella badass too, Tatiana Suarez.
Or do you find the women fights as entertaining as the men fights?
Sometimes. Some of these bras to chunk them, bro.
Yeah, sometimes.
I feel like if the girl fights are real interesting, it's because the girls fighting, they have no fear, bro. They go in there and it's an entertaining fight because they leave it all out there.
And it's like with women, you literally don't know who's gonna win. It's not like one of them technically has an advantage over the other because they're all the weight classes evens it out. I mean, one of them can have a technical or a skill advantage. You know what I mean? I understand that. But right now, this looks like it's anybody's fight. You know. Well, speaking of women, and we were talking about these airplane crashes.
What Cortez don't like?
Women, yeah. This most recent flight, or this most recent airplane fucking accident, the helicopter that crashed into that other one and killed all those ice skaters.
There's been like 4 or 5, bro.
Well, you know which one I'm talking about?
The Black Hawk? Yeah.
The DC one? Did you see who was flying the helicopter?
Chick.
It was a woman. I was telling my girl that, and she looked at me, she looked at me like this, she was like, I was like, what? I'm not going to say anything. I was just like, what a coincidence, right? But you see how they, everyone's like, oh.
So they're saying she was a pilot, but she was spent the last 2 years in the White House working, not in a plane.
I didn't see that. I seen that she had a 500 hours of flight time, and that she just most recently flew in Ralph Lauren for like the inauguration or some shit. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, I just heard she got like in politically and went into the White House, worked at the White House.
Yeah, and it was like a training exercise, right?
Right, and they were at a higher altitude than they were supposed to be.
So my conspiracy theory, right? And one of the things that I've seen about this so far, those Blackhawks can be remotely taken over.
Yeah, but they're saying that about all the planes is they're getting hacked right now. That's why they're going down. That's what I've heard is somebody's hacking the systems.
But some people, right? Like it's easy to speculate, right? So, but I seen this one guy. So obviously they didn't release their identity right away, right? They didn't release her identity until like last Saturday or something, right? And then so obviously everyone tries to go see if she has social media, and then her social media is gone. And everyone's like, oh, how did they wipe her social media so fast? They barely released her identity. And I'm like, you guys are so stupid. Like, obviously they know who was flying their helicopter. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. They wiped it as soon as they realized something.
Yeah. They barely told us who it was. Us. They know who it was the whole fucking time, you fucking idiots. You know what I mean? Yeah, people fucking blow my mind. But same thing with this whole, like, immigration thing, bro. Like, people are letting it fucking, like, just control the narrative, take over you know what I mean? Like, their whole life, like, constant, like, debate and discussion about this whole thing, right? And one thing I've been telling people, right? Immigration didn't stop the past 4 years. And as much as people say, oh, yeah, well, yeah, they were letting everybody in or they weren't deporting people. Okay. Like, it doesn't just work like that. Like, ICE didn't just, isn't a new fucking organization. And I was explaining to him that, how, like, yeah, it is.
Freezer, bro. It's not even on it's just frozen water.
But yellow. But I'm saying, like, you have the liberal media, right? Which controls the majority of the media. Even the majority of our algorithms that we get on Instagram and stuff like that, those are all, it's really hard to get out of the liberal, like, control of what they have over technology, media. So a lot of the, like the mainstream stuff that's put out.
Twitter and shit, but you're right. I mean, I get where you were going with it.
Well, because Twitter, you have to really, like, curate what you have on there. You know what I mean? In order to, like, it's so easy to get caught up in other people's, like, independent, like, opinions.
Yeah, but you didn't see, like what Kanye just put?
Well, speaking of Kanye, but no. Go ahead.
Well, he didn't put it exactly. Kind of alluded to sleeping with Trump's daughter.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Yeah, Ivanka. Well, I don't know if he has more than one, but yeah, I know about Ivanka. I remember having her, like, on the cover of, like, a Maxim magazine, and I thought she was so bad.
Well, no, because somebody put something about Maxim. Kanye, and he goes, hey, you don't have to worry about your daughter or your wife.
Yeah.
Jared Kushner, on the other hand.
Song Wally smacking the shit out of the top of Warriors' skull right now.
She got a big gash on her knee, too.
Now, but speaking of Kanye, did you see how in the Grammys he had his bitch
naked?
So my lady's like, did you see? And I'm like, see what? She's like, it's everyone's talking about it. I'm like, what is it? And she's like, pulls up the video, right? And I'm all like, oh, this that bitch that he always has her out naked and shit. And she's like, yeah. And I'm all like, so I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like crazier than I've seen this bitch naked so many times, right? I'm like I don't know. Okay, so like I think this is just Kanye like at base level now. I'm like, I don't even think he's trying to be controversial. I'm like, he does this shit all the time. Like, we've seen her titties, we've seen her pussy all the time, right? I want to know when Kanye comes out and has her out there like in a fucking butt plug on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, let me know when he starts doing like some wild shit. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is like, this is just what he does now. Like, we see her titties and pussy all everywhere, all over the internet. You know what I mean?
The street like that.
Yeah, like, I was like, why does anybody think this was gonna be any different? Like, oh, it's the Grammys, they're gonna come respectable today. Like, you know what I mean?
Bro, I seen him in a costume or one of his fucking outfits that he sells and shit, where he has shoulder pads on. He's walking around like,
yeah.
Oh, what's that old dude's name? Johnny? No, not Johnny Neutron.
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo. Like, you know how he was all hella buff back here? That's how he was walking around.
Yeah. Oh, she was landing some solid fucking punches right there.
Suarez, oh, look at her head's all beat up. Suarez is getting tired though. All right, so let's quit bullshitting, Kyle. What you think about these rumors? Let's just start off with the big one, the main one, Myles Garrett.
I want to go there.
I want to go there.
Go there,
and I want to know your opinion, pros, cons, what you think, why you think we should go after him, and the negatives of us going after him.
Very good question. Honestly, don't think about.
Do you want to hold off on that one? Because
I was gonna transition into it. I didn't know if you wanted to,
we could start off with George Kittle because he's in negotiations right now.
Well, there's that. There's so many areas we could go off on.
Let's go off. Let's start with
George Kittle. Thing, right? So, one thing, real quick, right? Episode 41.
You want to start off where
I showed you the script. I don't know if you read the first page, but who is the most prominent 49er player to ever wear number 41? And I had to think about it too, because after I looked it up, I was like, I actually had some trouble trying to find somebody, and I only got suggested really one player, and it was Antoine Bethea.
That's who came to mind, but he's the most recent one.
Well, he's the only one to really ever have worn it and have any type of prominent time or how would you say? Because it wasn't like there was success while he was with us, but he did catch the tail end of the Harbaugh era, and I remember being a fan of him. You know what I mean? I liked
successful.
Yeah, Super Bowl winner with the Colts. You know what I mean? So, 2006 Super Bowl winner with the Colts. When he came to the 49ers, I thought he brought that veteran presence. He was a hard hitter. Something that we really like in our safeties, where something that we see now with our safeties. You know what I mean? He carried on that tradition and that presence, and he didn't get the second ring. He didn't get a second ring with the 49ers. Unfortunately, that Harbaugh era ended. We know how it ended.
Yeah.
Diehard 49er fans before Shanahan all know how it ended. And if you're a real 49er fan, you know that Harbaugh should still be our coach and not the other way around. But, yeah, dude, there's so many areas, so shout out to Bethea. Just wanted to do that. It's episode 41. This very well might be the technical finale of season 2 since the Super Bowl is tomorrow. Again, so many areas we can go into. I kind of wanted, before we dive deep into 49ers, again, we might just sidetrack. If we get sidetracked, the AI will fucking edit out any pauses and shit. So again, we're reacting to the UFC as well. So I'm interested in watching that Duplessis fight. Strickland's an interesting fighter to watch anyway. But I kind of wanted to go over just general NFL stuff before we dive deep on the 49ers. Kind of cover just a few coaching newses. Jean Wei Li might just finish this fight right now. Yeah, she's off. Suarez is dazed. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you, did you notice Chip Kelly got hired?
OC?
Yeah, offensive coordinator for the Raiders. Steve Wilkes.
So you know what I think is funny about before we go on to Steve Wilkes? I didn't see Steve Wilkes, but Chip Kelly, OC for the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Who's their head seat? Pete Carroll. Head coach, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Right? Who else is in that division? Jim Harbaugh. So when them three were in college, Pete Carroll was at USC, Chip Kelly was at Oregon, and Harbaugh was at Michigan. Harbaugh owned them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they're in the same division. Harbaugh's about to own them again.
But Pete Carroll has already had Harbaugh's number and beat him in the NFC Championship game.
That don't matter. They're in the same. Well, yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
We're in the same.
Yeah. But in college, yeah, he well, not because didn't Chip Kelly win a national championship too? Well, that was after Harbaugh left, right? Yeah, because that's what pretty much got his ass into the league. You know what I mean?
Well, he had 3 good years at Oregon.
Yeah, he turned those offenses into fucking powerhouses.
That's what it was. It's his offense. The way he ran his offense, it didn't translate into the NFL though.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of just acknowledge it as 49er fans. It's interesting to see Chip Kelly back in this
Where'd
NFL. Well, Wilkes is with the Jets, but real quick, the reason why I think it's funny is because how many times we talked about firing Kyle Shanahan, and the casuals will be like, "Oh, do you want to go through the Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula eras again?"
That's not casuals. That's truth.
Well, I feel like I don't know if me and you discussed this, but I kind of have like grown into this theory of or this thought process that when Shanahan became the coach, so you got the younger generation of 49er fans. This fool's been the coach for 9 years now. Well, going on year 9.
Yeah.
So imagine, how old is your son right now? So he was 11 when Shanahan became the coach. So there's a whole, thousands of people his age that only know Shanahan. So some of these guys I'm debating with online only know Shanahan. So they were told like, oh, before Shanahan got here, Chip Kelly was the worst coach ever. You know what I mean? Where me and you, it was like a fucking blink. You know what I mean? A blink of an eye to us. Like it was only one season.
Tomasula, Chip Kelly.
But me and you understood what those years were because we knew what it was. They got rid of Harbaugh. What did we expect? You know what I mean? But Harbaugh set standards really high.
I've said it myself, bro. If we get rid of Shanahan, even though I say we need to get rid of him, if we get rid of him, we're going to go through another era of the fucking Trent Baalke era. You know what I mean? Where we're just trying to find the right head coach, and that's why I think the Shanahan hiring was such a big deal. Is because he was a credible coach that had a pedigree behind him. Pedigree behind him where, Chip Kelly didn't.
Yeah.
Tomasula didn't.
Yeah.
Tomasula was I don't even know if he was a coordinator at that time. I think he might have just been like a positions coach or an assistant.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They just really liked him.
Well, he was I believe he was our D coordinator at the time, but before that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, he is a good D coordinator. You can't take nothing away from him. I think he's running Tampa Bay's defense, right?
Who, Tomasula?
I think so.
I'm not sure.
Where's he at?
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. But, yeah, the NFL comes full circle. It's just interesting to see that, Steve Wilkes, defensive coordinator now with the Jets. And a lot of people might be like, again, a casual fan might be like, oh, he's not that good. That's why he didn't do anything this past year. But a lot of people don't understand that the 49ers were in a Super Bowl. So most positions, like defensive coordinator positions, were already filled by the time Steve Wilkes got fired.
Yeah.
So he would have either taken like a really low position.
Like Saleh did, not offensive advisor.
Yeah, or like, he would have just, he pretty much accepted sitting back for this whole past year. And now he's DC. I don't even know who the hell Jets head coach is. These guys are playing footsies. Live update. Cortez took a nap, and now he's feeling himself. What? But, yeah, that's another thing that I think is really interesting, right? Because we don't know what the hell is going to happen with Steve Wilkes. We don't know what the hell is going to happen with the Jets. But to see him back in the NFL, I think is a pretty, like, to me, I was like, okay, that's cool, right? Like he deserves it. He deserves another shot. I don't know if he'll ever have the same success. Like he also benefited from the 49ers just as much as we benefited from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, interesting. Just something I really wanted to know for the podcast. Other coach hirings. We just talked about Kellen Moore is apparently going to be the coach of the New Orleans Saints. Brian Schottenheimer, coach of the Dallas Cowboys. These coach hirings are fucking jokes, bro, in the NFC. Like, so that's one thing I think is positive for the 49ers because Shanahan is, at the end of the day, is one of the better winning coaches in the NFL when it comes to, all he needs is a healthy team, you know what I mean? Like, and he's probably going to have a winning season, But one guy, dude, that we really have to talk about, and I have to get your thoughts on this on the podcast, is Jaguars' new coach. Have you seen this guy? Liam Cohen? This is Jacksonville's head coach, bro. No, like, I understand that, but
he looks goofy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, John Wei Lee about to choke this bitch out?
Maybe that the doctor chick. That's Wei Lee Zhang. That's not John Wei Lee.
Yeah, goofy. Bro, this dude right here gives me a...
He looks like that white dude that had like one black friend, but the black friend wasn't even like black.
No, he was like an anime black.
Yeah.
He was like whitewashed black.
Like Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah. No, hey, you know what I was saying? Like this, I was telling people this guy gives me First Shizzle vibes, Malibu's Most Wanted vibes. Like Brad, what is it? B-Rad?
Brad Glockman.
I seen a video. I seen a video of him walking into the Jaguars organization, like after being like named the head coach, and he's like looking around and he's like, "This is just like when we did the interview, right?" And hey, I was like, I posted it, right? Like I reposted it, and I was like, I think the Jaguars organization is like a Disney experience, like a paid for like NFL experience for like a low, like for like $2,000, like you two could be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, you see who their owner is, right?
Yeah, Shad Khan. Well, he owns like WWE too, so yeah, he's like a part owner. The Khans. I think he's part owner of their UFC as well. Because don't they own UFC now too? WWE owners?
It's a group, but Dana White's part of that group too.
Yeah, Vince McMahon still be shitting on people's heads too.
Nah, he's done. They blackballed him.
Yeah, but he still be shitting on people's heads.
I don't think he got any. So I think they took everything. Well,
I'm saying like in the room, in the bedroom.
maybe his daughters.
I'm saying because he's a freak. We'll be right back. I gotta take a piss. I want to pause. You said we said that we're back. And
I mean,
Cortez has something he wants to say for the podcast. Cortez, look at the camera.
Maybe I have to see more of what you were watching to get a better understanding.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Weird though, huh?
Yeah.
And then like lucid dreaming, I've been reading a lot about lucid dreaming. Do you ever get into that shit? So like I've been reading like a lot of people's like experiences with it, right? And a lot of people have similar experiences. No, that's what they like. Yeah, it could kind of related, right? But like what the weird thing is that a lot of people say that when they have lucid dreams, you know how like in your dreams you interact with people, right? So they're saying when you have a lucid dream and like you're aware that you're dreaming, you technically can control it, right? So a lot of people have the same experience with where when they're interacting with people, if they tell the characters in their dream that this is a dream, the characters get mad and they attack them. And then like so I'm reading all these like stories and like all these comments and people are like, yeah, the same thing happens to me every time I tell them. It's like your dream, like your subconscious gets mad that you're aware that you're in your subconscious. It's like you're not supposed to be here, you know? Like it's weird, bro. Yeah. Sidetrack. Zhang Wei Li maintains her championship. Sponsored by Monster. We are sponsored by
it's Wei Li Zhang.
Wei Ling Zhang. They're all the same. They all look the same. I'm talking about women fighters, not the Asians. But
that looks like Cortez.
It kind of does. What the fuck?
Cortez the interpreter.
No, this is you. Like if you were
Asian.
What is that? Chinese? It's Chinese, huh? It's you if you were Chinese, dude.
You're Chinese and not Mexicanese?
Do you think China's trying to take over America, Junior?
I do. I think we're going to have a bunch of short little Chinese men running around this country. So do I.
Hey, you know what? What's 1 + 1?
3.
Hey, you know what's so funny? I remember when that whole thing about the Haitians eating cats and dogs. I remember being like, oh, what if that was just like Trump, like being old and like he just thought he heard somebody say Haitians and they actually said Asians, but like he's like old and he can't hear that well. And so he's like, the Haitians, they're eating the cats and dogs, and like nobody corrected him, you know? And they were like, it's the Asians, and he's like, the Haitians. Because it was always the Asians eating the cats and dogs. Like, when did that stop? Now it's the Haitians? That's a psyop, bro. Like, the Chinese people completely turned this on the Haitian people, bro.
I mean, the Haitians do it because that's what they eat. So the way it was explained is it's a third world country, so they don't have fucking food like we do readily available. You know what I mean? For their protein, they have to fucking.
That I get, but let me ask you.
So when they come here, the immigrants come here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like them eating pigeons.
Americanized, they're fucking.
But check this out, though. What is a second world country? We all know what a first world country is and a third world country, but nobody knows what a second world country is. America?
Fuck no.
What is it?
We're on the brink of being a third world country, bro.
You think so? You think we're going to fall apart?
Trump wouldn't have got office. We would.
I think we're on the brink of becoming the greatest we have ever been. Potentially.
We'll see.
Potentially.
We'll see, but if Trump wouldn't have won, bro, we would have been a fucking third world country.
I'm honestly inspired, dude. I'm thinking I might get into politics, run for mayor.
You could run for a district here, bro.
Yeah.
hard.
No, I was thinking about doing it, really making some real change. Might get into coaching, might become a general manager of the 49ers, might make some moves like trading for Myles Garrett, something you brought up earlier. You kind of asked me earlier this week what I thought about it.
Well, let's before we get on Myles Garrett, let's George Kittle. He's in contract negotiations right now.
But what? Okay, so not really like groundbreaking. Like we should have known that. But we should have expected that.
Ultimately, all this comes back to Brock Purdy. Are the Niners gonna do what they've been doing in the past with Brock Purdy and make him wait till last minute to get signed his contract, hold out of OTAs and stuff? And the reason I'm saying that is because
hold on, I have to stop you right there. The Niners never made any of those players do that. The players did that to the Niners.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, but the Niners played it out by not just giving them what they wanted right away. Eventually, they ended up giving in and giving them what they wanted. But the Niners held out and made it a longer process than what it wanted. Brandon Ayuk said he made it a longer process.
No, I just wanted to be clear if you were because I think you're asking me a question. So I wanted to be clear on how you worded it, because he asked me a question earlier and I was like, because there's two different ways of looking at it, you know?
Because so what I'm getting at is those negotiations in the past years have played out to leading into the start of the season. And at the end of the season, Brock Purdy had said he wanted to get negotiations done as soon as possible. He wanted to be there for OTAs and all the, involuntary workouts and all that. So with him saying that, wouldn't you think the Niners organization would want to start working on that, being that it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? Such a like a hot topic in the organization. Like, should he get paid the max contract? Should they franchise tag him? Should they trade him and draft a new quarterback? Or that's the hot topic. So with that being said, they automatically go to George Kittle for contract negotiations. That's the first one, and they ain't even waited. It's Super Bowl's not even here yet, and they're already in negotiations. I hear Fred Warner is going to be in negotiations next.
Let's just say this: we already knew that.
We know they needed contracts, but we didn't know they were going to be. Well, it's not that. So they're still under contract. They didn't need contracts. No. They're still under contract. They just didn't have no more guaranteed.
No, because we discussed this on a pod, and we talked about we should expect this before. So I'm glad we brought this up.
We said that as fans.
No. The thing is that everybody in this same situation last year.
But I think you're trying to change what I'm trying to ask.
Okay. No. I'm just because I'm just trying to.
But it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, I'm just saying. I'm making sure the information is correct because we've already. I'm saying we covered this, so I don't want to contradict what we said on the past podcast.
George Kittle is working on a contract.
Yeah.
Fred Warner's supposed to get his contract.
Yeah.
Work on his contract. They're under contract. They just ain't got no guaranteed money.
Yeah. So I was going to say is that everyone that did that last year got a contract extension.
It has nothing to do with that. They're getting contract extensions. We know that. I mean, as fans, we expect that. Yeah. That's kind of what we think. And in order to keep this team the way it is, that they got it.
Yeah.
So, segueing into Myles Garrett coming over, just in free agency period, I think, before we get into Myles Garrett, I think they're holding out on Brock Purdy's contract to see how many people they could bring back and re-sign, as far as Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, George Kittle.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors Juszczyk coming back for a cheaper price.
Yeah. Which he already did that.
Maybe Hufanga. There's a lot of players that we need to bring back and I think, and this is all I'm going to say with the Brock Purdy thing, I think they're waiting to see who they could bring back and what they got to pay out before they can go and throw money at Brock Purdy. And with that being said, Myles Garrett's a big topic of us signing, which I have not heard not one person opposed to it.
Yeah. However,
what's it going to cost us? Myles Garrett's under contract for 2 more years in Cleveland.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to go too far because I wanted to hit on those.
But this is gonna. I'm gonna get back to it because he's under contract for 2 more years in Cleveland.
Okay.
He has no guaranteed money other than his play money.
Okay.
Which is roughly about $6 million the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, Niners have draft capital to make that move, would you be in on that move?
Yeah, I'm 100% in on that.
Now, bringing him over, he has no guaranteed money. He's going to want a contract.
But that's the thing, though, right? That's why I was like, I kind of like, I say, like before we get too far into it, like we have to preface a few things, right? Because I'm not worried about 2 years from now, because I'm not looking at it like, if the 49ers are telling us we're still in a Super Bowl window, then that means you have to do everything in your power to win this year. You're not looking at 2026, 2027, you know what I mean? No.
Being said, we could also bring him.
That's why I think so. I think the more interesting,
but I'm not trying to get on that. My question to you is, it's not about the pay or whatever. It's about what draft capital are you willing to give up to bring him here? Because I've heard everywhere from 3 first-round picks from this year, next year, and 2027 to.
See, that's where it's like, nah.
You say no, but you weren't opposed to it for Trey Lance, who didn't work out.
Okay, but hold on. See, you're not even letting me get like a single word in here. Hold on. You said I said no without letting me elaborate. I'm saying no because we've already proven that we've done that before, and it's not worth it to spend that much on one player.
But we've done it before from drafting a player, not a proven player.
But I know. But I'm saying, okay, but that's where you draw the line, because you're not drafting a 23-year-old edge rusher. You're drafting a 30-year-old edge rusher. And you're giving up 3 years of, if you do that, you're giving up 3 years of depth and roster building for a 30-year-old edge rusher.
How do you know?
So the math don't have.
How do you know he don't got 3 years left?
I'm saying you ask. I'm saying me. I know. I'm saying me though. I wouldn't do it. I'm saying me personally. I wouldn't do it.
Coming off a DPOY year.
I'm saying you're doing everything.
But you're not answering my question. You wouldn't do what?
Give up 3 first-round.
But I'm asking, what would you give up? What's the draft capital?
The most I would give up this year.
I've heard.
The most I would give up this year. The most I would give up this year is I'd give up number 1 this year for that.
It's going to take more than 1 pick.
No, I know. I'm saying I would give up number 1 this year for that, and then whatever else it takes. Like throw in Debo, throw in a 5th-round pick. So you're saying that Cleveland gets this year's first, right? They get the number 11. I'm saying this is what I would do. I'm asking you. So you said what I would do, right? I would give up number 1. I would give up a player, whoever Cleveland wants, right? I mean, obviously there's a couple of people that are hands off, right? Like Kittle's not going nowhere.
First off, Cleveland don't even have to trade him, so you got to be willing to give up what Cleveland wants for it. A player might not even be feasible.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying like where I'm telling you where I'm drawing the line, right? So if they're saying we want 2 first-round picks, okay, is it 2 first-round picks?
So they're saying at least 3 picks.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So if is it 2 first-round picks, in 2026 and 2027, and we keep this year's? No, I'm saying like there's no guarantee. We don't know what's going to happen. He might not even come to the Niners. You know what I mean? Like. So what I'm saying is, what would I be cool with? You know what I'm saying? Like. Is it this year's and next year's? I'd probably say no, because we don't even know if this year's a guarantee for Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So I'm like, but if you're only giving up 1 first-round pick,
but like you just said, if you got to sell out, so if you're saying you're not you're not guaranteed this year's a Super Bowl, how are you supposed to?
I'm saying giving up 1 first-round pick. I'm not giving up because if we don't win a Super Bowl this year, then if we're not in a rebuild this year, then when are we in next year if we don't win a Super Bowl again? We're not in a rebuild again? Like, when are we going to be in a rebuild? You know what I mean? Like, we have to accept it at some point.
So what they're saying is this is the last opportunity with this core team to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you've already said it in the past, sell out and go for everything to win it this year.
That's what I think, yeah.
But you just said you wouldn't be willing to sell out for this player.
Because because that's not selling. That's giving up too much for too old of a player. That's going overboard for something that might. So now you're buying because you don't even know if they're locked into Shanahan for more than 1 more year. So why would you give up your first-round picks for the next 2 or 3 years? You might have a different coach by then. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, so if that's the case, then Myles Garrett's out of the question. Then you move on from Myles Garrett. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? That's where I draw the line. I'm looking at like, okay, is it this year's pick? Okay, cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you giving up a third or a fifth. You know what I mean?
I said it's going to take at least 3 picks. So what are you willing to give up?
Picks. I said that.
But what picks? Because you said
I just said that, a third or a fifth.
All you said is this year's first round pick.
No, I just said it right now. I said a third, a fifth. Like, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? First, a third, and a fifth. 1, 2, 3 is what I'm saying.
That's probably not going to go.
Okay, cool. Then I'm out on Myles Garrett. Me personally, like if it takes more than that. We don't have a draft then. I'm not debating the first round. Yeah. IU. Trenches.
Yeah. O-line, D-line. Okay, so O-line, they hit on O-line later on in the draft. They've never hit in the first round pick on the draft. D-line, look how their D-line first round picks. But wait, let me finish. Look how their D-line first round picks have panned out.
Yeah.
Defoe got traded.
Yeah.
Kinlaw never did nothing, got traded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Solomon Thomas got traded. So with that being said, you wouldn't be willing to give up our first round picks on a solid player that's proven, that's coming off a defensive player of the year, probably at the peak of his prime.
You just asked me that question, the same question 3 times in a row, and I answered it 3 times. I said I would be willing to give up first round picks, but not more than one. And that's why I wanted to ask you, because I feel like you want to answer that question. You know what I mean?
So basically, you're out on Myles Garrett right now.
If it's going to be,
So you're out on Myles Garrett.
Like,
so my thing is,
I don't feel like it would change the momentum that much either way.
But my thing is, we haven't fucking made out with shit on those picks. So why not spend them on a proven guy, keep our later picks, and hopefully we hit another poon.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So to also say that we hit on offensive line later is not true. We've hit on one offensive lineman 1 year because they've only invested in one offensive lineman. You gave up on Aaron Banks. Everyone, from what I've seen, they're giving up on
everybody's giving up on Aaron Banks,
and they're also giving up on the dude that's backing up Trent Williams because he needs a contract. They don't want to pay him, so they're going to go all new offensive linemen. Apparently,
all these guys want fat contracts.
So I know. So
some of them are proven.
I know. I'm saying like you. So I'm just kind of back-ending your argument, like to say that whether or not we hold on to. What I want to ask you is because you told me already on this podcast that you think we're going to go to the Super Bowl, right? This year.
Well, as a fan, I said that as a.
No, I take that. Yeah. No, you said that. You think that no playoff. No, I know. I'm tripping. I'm saying you said that you think they'll get back to the playoffs at least.
They have the ability.
Okay, so what do you think is the best move then? Do you think giving up the first round for Myles Garrett this year is the best move to get back to the playoffs? And then
I say this year and next year.
So then you're comfortable giving up 2 first round picks?
Yeah, and probably a third round this year.
That's where I'm like. That's where I say, me personally, I would say no.
Okay, who are you going to get in the first round? What are you going to draft in the first round this year?
There's so many avenues that can go.
Where?
Well, we don't have the information for that. We haven't deep dived into it. I have names I could pull up.
For our needs, we just agreed.
They're all over the board.
But we just agreed our needs are in the trenches.
Yeah, and they pick a number 11. They have an opportunity to pick a defensive end, a defensive tackle, offensive lineman. At number 11, there's going to be plenty of players available. And I know, me and you already, I'm saying like, so me and you already reached this point where it's, okay, your thing is, you're okay giving up 2, I'm okay only giving up 1, right? Are they going to give up 1? You said no. You said it's going to take more. And that's it. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's it until we know what happens from there. The only guarantee the 49ers have, or any team has, there's no guarantee when you draft any player. All you're gonna get from Myles Garrett, yeah, you get the pedigree, you get the MVPs, or defensive players of the year, but you also get 30 years of attrition. You get 9 years of NFL football in a player. So if you're giving up 2 first-round picks and you don't make it to the playoffs or you don't go to the Super Bowl,
you're giving up a player that's proven versus drafting 5 guys in the last 8 years that are unproven, that have been traded, that ain't been doing nothing.
But they're still playing.
But they ain't having the stats or the years.
The Niners still didn't win a Super Bowl either. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we don't know if those dudes were going to be the difference makers or not. You know what I mean?
I'm saying they.
No, I'm saying for the 49ers.
That's why they're not here. Yeah. They were all busts. That's why we wasted. That's why I'm saying they were wasted picks.
Yeah.
So you would rather go and potentially waste another pick rather than get a proven player.
Well, because I don't think
when you said
I don't think Myles Garrett's going to win us the Super Bowl is what I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm comfortable giving up this year's first round pick. So
if we don't go to the playoffs this year, what's next year?
Nothing. Rebuild.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to sell out to try to at least do
Well, Myles Garrett would be 31.
But we already know it's going to be a rebuild. We could get rid of him next year. He could be a rental. He could be a 1 year and done.
If we give up 2 picks, you don't get that pick back just for getting rid of him.
We didn't get none of the picks back for Trey Lance.
That's why it's even more important not to make that same mistake, especially under Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think it's the same mistake, bro. Again, an unproven player versus a proven player.
Okay, but I'm saying weigh the odds. Is a defensive end really going to put, like, the defense isn't the biggest issue for this team when it comes to winning a Super Bowl. The biggest issue has always been the offense.
When it comes to getting us to the Super Bowl, it's the defense.
Okay, but when it comes...
So when we made it to the Super Bowl, we didn't have the fucking best offense, the most fucking highest rated offense.
I didn't realize how big that motherfucker is, bro.
You know what I mean? It was our defense that was keeping us in that game. Our offense was just getting us by.
But we've had that. But I'm saying we've done that with this essentially the same guys that you said were no good have gotten us to the Super Bowl already. But we don't need Myles Garrett to get us to the Super Bowl is what I'm saying.
No, we need him to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think that, like, okay, I mean, I again, like, me and you can only agree to a point. Like I said, I draw the line at more than 1 first round pick, you know? So
okay, say it's this year's first round pick. We got 3 third round picks and 4 fourth round picks, I believe. So say it's this year's first round pick, 2 third round picks, and a 4th round pick.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Essentially, I said I'd be cool with
You said 3 picks. You said a first, a third, and a 5th. I'm saying a first, 2 thirds, and a 4th.
I'd still be okay with it.
So because you'd be okay with giving up more draft capital this year than because next year you might have the opportunity to get that first pick back or that first round draft pick back in a trade or somebody else. You know, you trade a player for that pick or
trade Myles Garrett, just like you said. You know what I mean?
Up. So I mean, just because you trade that draft pick next year don't mean
you don't trade first, bro. You know what I mean? Like I've been really diving deep into like coaching philosophy and like the history of like the Niners and like Bill Walsh, the dynasty and all that stuff, and like what he used to say, like his whole like philosophy.
The whole thing is Bill Walsh was 30 years ago.
He was cutthroat.
It's a whole different generation.
Yeah.
It's a whole different mindset.
Like I said, I agree.
Might as well put leather helmets on again.
Yeah. Well, fuck, you seen the Guardian 2.0?
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, well, you know what we should do? We should get somehow make like a I just say that because I say that to help you understand like my approach to this because I feel like I answered your question so many times like where it was like you're trying to convince me like you just want me to say yes. I don't know and I'm not, you know what I mean?
I want you to say yes. I just want to be able to get my point out because you kept let me answer this. Let me finish the whole question. Like, would you rather give up multiple first round picks? Would you, like I said, I just barely asked you the last part of my question. Would you give up the four picks this year?
No, and I was saying but I'm saying like I just said that, and when I said 3 picks, like you said that wasn't good enough.
It wasn't, but I put 4 picks out there.
I know. I'm saying, but I'm like,
and one of those third round picks is.
I know, but you see how like it sounds like it's almost like you could have said that like when I said that the first time, like it's, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like I answered that question is what I'm telling you. Like, so are we already agreed to? Like I'm saying, like I already agreed to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm cool with the first round. More than that, like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, and I just don't think Myles Garrett, like as prolific as he is, I don't think giving up that much long-term future, because to me, this is my thought process. Shanahan might not be here next year. So if we give up future building of a roster to lock in.
How can you say Shanahan might not be here next year? How can you say that?
Because I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think we should say I can't say he's not.
Do you think the Eagles are going to win tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why?
Saquon.
What makes you say that?
He's going to be the difference maker.
So what makes you say Shanahan's not going to be here next year?
Because there's nobody better to replace him.
But you see what I'm saying? Who's going to replace the Chiefs? The best team in the NFL. Saquon?
I'm not saying Saquon's going to replace.
No, I'm saying like no. I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm saying like the same process of like that same thought process is why people think that, right? No, I'm not saying that at all. No. I'm saying like, so you said Shanahan won't be here next year because.
I didn't say Shanahan.
No, I'm saying Shanahan won't be here next year, and you said what makes you say that? No. I'm saying what gives you the confidence. That's what I'm saying. Like
what gives me the confidence that Saquon could do it because Saquon is the offensive player of the year. Saquon had a record-breaking season this year with the first year on this team.
CMC was the offensive player of the year last year.
So he made a big difference.
No, but I'm saying like you see how like
not what you want to hear, so you don't.
No, let me finish. I'm telling you, like you know how the thought process like of people it goes. Oh, Shanahan's going to be here next year. Like, what makes me think he's going to go anywhere, whether we don't go to the playoffs or not? I'm saying, like, that's to me, that's why I think the Chiefs, like, as much as I want the Eagles to win, this is what I was telling him. Like, what I want to happen and what I think is going to happen is two different things. There is nothing that I've seen that has shown me that the Chiefs won't lose tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like to me, I think Saquon is what's different between the first time they played and the second time they're playing, right? And I think that might have a difference. But at the same time, the Chiefs win. Shanahan loses, Super Bowl never gets fired. So, like, it's what I'm saying. Like, I was trying to tell you, like, my thought process is the same when it comes to why I think the Chiefs will win tomorrow. The same thought process you have is, like, kind of the same for why you think.
Yeah, but you asked me who I thought would win. I said the Eagles, and you said why. I said Saquon's going to be different. Oh, but he ain't going to change. He ain't going to be. Bro, I didn't say the Chiefs were going to win, and that's what you wanted me to say. I think the Eagles are going to win because I think Saquon's going to be the difference because of the season he's had.
Yeah.
You know, same reason people think the Chiefs are, look what Patrick Mahomes done.
Yeah.
I think Saquon's going to be the difference maker. They never had Saquon.
No. And as a analytical side, that's what I think is really going to be like the huge factor. But I'm saying like the cynical side of me is like the Chiefs are going to fucking pull some shit out of their ass. No, I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to make you look like wrong. I was actually trying to like back in your, like saying like, that's why you're right. Like, no matter what happens next year, Shanahan's probably going to be the coach again. But I'm looking at it like, why would we invest that much into a 31-year-old player when I've also been on this podcast saying we need to get rid of these old guys? You know what I mean? So I would be contradicting myself.
Because we've invested that much into a 20-year-old player that didn't do nothing.
So, and I don't want to make that same mistake. So that kind of answers the question. You know what I mean? That's where I'm coming from. Like, I hope the Niners. I'm not making no mistake. Whether or not Myles Garrett is a 49er, it's not gonna. If he becomes a 49er, I'm gonna be very happy, and I feel like it would be like a huge momentum move for them. It'd be a blockbuster trade. You know what I mean? That would make me very confident, like, okay, they're going in the right direction. But if they don't get him, I'm not going to look at it like, oh, the 49ers lost out. Because
no, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, if you said yourself that we need to sell out this year, then why not sell out? Why now back away?
And that's so my answer to that is there's a fine line between selling out and doing too much. And so the 4 picks, right? Whether or not it's this year's first or next year's first, but then you throw in like a second, a third, a fifth, or a sixth. I'm cool with that type of stuff, right? But when it gets into like 3 consecutive firsts, that's when I go, okay, now that's too much of a sellout. That's when I draw the line. You know what I mean? I don't know if that answers that for you or clears it up, but that's where I was trying to. Yeah,
I get what you're saying, but I kind of go back to.
I just like what I'm saying is like I don't know. What I'm saying is like, are you telling me like you expect people to be one way or the other? You don't like when people are in between? Is that what you're saying?
No,
because I'm like in between is what I'm saying.
I just want to know because listening to other people talk.
Some people are like that. Some people are like one.
But listening to other people talking, just kind of speculate on what it's going to take. I've heard 3 first-round picks. You know, I mean, 2025, 2026.
But you would be cool with that.
You know what? I wasn't cool with them getting Trey Lance, but they did. So it has no matter. It don't matter what I'm cool with or not.
No.
Me, the reality of that happening is a possibility.
But I want to pick more into the brain of Ray J. Garcia here. So you know, no, hold on. But so you know how that played out, right?
No, I do. But what I'm saying is NFL teams do make moves like this.
No. 49ers made a move like this.
No, other NFL teams have made moves like that.
Off my head, I don't know of anyone that made such a bet. Like the Trey Lance trade is brought up as one of the worst trades in NFL history.
So where we're confusing this at is we're looking at the Trey Lance being a bad trade.
No, I know.
And I'm just comparing, I'm comparing it to Trey Lance being a bad trade. Worst trade in history or whatever.
No, not worst trade in history. I'm saying recent, like memory.
But I'm saying we gave up those picks for that. Why wouldn't we give them up for this? A proven player. I know. And I'm okay, so let me ask you, I'm really trying to get into your head right now. Not saying like when you say we, you're saying the 49ers organization. Yeah. So and you're not saying like you're not trying to like predict. No, I'm not saying like to you don't care what happens either way, right? Because you're a fan. Well, it makes no difference to me. I mean,
what you're trying to do is like what me and you were saying isn't really like the main thing. Is what you're doing is like you're predicting that you think the 49ers aren't above making a move that big is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't think any NFL team is so.
But okay, so what I wanted to ask you, right, is as a 49er fan, right, experiencing what you experienced with the 49ers doing what they did with Trey Lance, right? And regardless of the quarterback like production or what we thought the quarterback would be himself and who played the position, right? The fact is they made this big move, and
I'm in.
No, I'm saying they made this big move, but we still didn't get the result that we wanted, right? Not the production, production of the quarterback. I'm saying the ultimate result was we wanted a Super Bowl, right?
Here's the difference.
Oh, hold on. Let me finish, right? So they gave up 3 first-round picks, right? So that was what years was it? It was 20, 21, 22, and 23. And then this year we got Ricky, right, in 24. Okay, so we knew Trey Lance wasn't going to be like the factor to get us over the hump after like the first year maybe. So we chalk up 1 first-year pick. So then maybe we're like, damn, wish the 49ers didn't fucking spend all those first-round picks on this dude. So imagine we're in the NFC Championship game, and one of those first-round picks went to another offensive lineman. And then, bam, so then the Rams still win, and they go to the Super Bowl, right? So imagine we're in the fucking NFC Championship game again, and one of those first-round picks went to, like, another offensive lineman or somebody that helped in that Brock Purdy injury, like shit like that. I'm only bringing this up with, like, that's why I'm against it, because I've seen this backfire on the 49ers so many times. And, yeah, you are right. There's no guarantee that we could draft a player at number 1, and we could draft a player at Mr. Irrelevant, and Mr. Irrelevant might be a better player than number 1. You know what I mean? And the 49ers are the best example of that as well. So we just had a really interesting, like, full circle.
At the same time, when they used that first round, traded all them picks for Trey Lance,
that was the best thing coming.
I didn't.
Well, I didn't.
We didn't need a quarterback.
No, yeah, you were always against it.
We didn't need a quarterback at the time.
Well, you like Jimmy.
But we didn't need a quarterback.
But do you understand, like, the move for what it was, like, at the time, though?
No.
Like, now, like, that you've had time to reflect on it? Because I think Kyle Shanahan knew that he needed to evolve at that position. Garoppolo couldn't move no more.
Yeah, but you don't use a first-round pick on a quarterback.
But you use them on.
But you so again, like I said this year, you addressed it in free agency and get a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Which that's all you're getting is a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you always get undrafted free agents, or you draft a quarterback at the end of the year. Watch.
Yeah.
Watch how many undrafted free agents. Sign with the Niners or try out for the Niners or shit.
Well, they still kept that one kid on the
Mordecai
practice squad. Yeah. Mordecai. So what? We need 2 more. So. It's the biggest boomer bust position.
With that being said, when we drafted Trey Lance and gave up those 3 first-round picks, I didn't think we needed to. I didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
However, this time, if it costs 3 first-round picks, it's a position that we need, that we both agreed we need, and it's a proven player. It's not a backup player.
Yeah.
We're not giving them up for essentially a backup player.
I see, yeah.
So that's my thought process on that.
I know. And to be honest, like there is a psychological side to it too, right? If they brought in a big name player like Myles Garrett, it would be huge. But okay, so we kind of spent a lot of time on Myles Garrett, right?
Because let's transition to, because I've heard other names.
Okay. So I was gonna
other
say,
names at that same position,
at the same position. Let's not even
because TJ Watt's came up. TJ Watt's name came up.
But if it's those big names, it's gonna be the same conversation. What are we gonna? You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna have the same conversation. Like, so I'm trying to move away from.
Well, TJ Watt, I don't think. I think you'll get more being able to trade players.
Number 1 and number 2, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, NFL. No, I'm saying like so. You're gonna give up 3 first rounds for Myles Garrett. You're giving up 3 for TJ Watt, bro. You know what I mean?
But I think TJ Watt. I think there's.
But he doesn't. He technically play linebacker before it, which is what Leonard Floyd is right now. But no. So a lot of people just today throwing out Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, and
I don't think Cooper Kupp.
So those aren't first round types of players. You know what I mean? Yeah, none more. Yeah.
Devontae Adams is just the new one. I don't think we'd have to trade a first round for him or T. Higgins.
Yeah, but T. Higgins. He's the number 1 available free agent as a wide receiver.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll have to trade a number 1 draft pick.
Well, that's why I don't think the 49ers would even entertain or even close to getting a player of that caliber at wide receiver.
I think they will.
Who? You think they would get T. Higgins for anything less than a first-round pick?
Maybe.
Well, he's a free agent, right? So they don't have to trade for T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they would just be able to pay for him. Yeah. So and it's one of those things where like where I could see the 49ers if it's for like a cheap, like a 4th-round pick, I'd be 100% with it. Because I think they would be able to find a spot for him on the team, you know, or Cooper too, you know.
See, I think Cooper's washed. I think Devontae or T. Higgins. So you've always said this is I've always said we need a.
I was gonna say, I hope you remember,
somebody that can get separated.
So when you said Cooper's washed, I understand.
That's T. Higgins,
and he still has that. Like,
if you want somebody that's going to be big, go up and get the ball and create separation, that's going to be T. Higgins.
But here's the thing, though. T. Higgins is a better wide receiver than Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. He's a whole different discussion. You know what I mean? But T. Higgins would cost a lot of money. That's a free agent. So we're talking about that's Myles Garrett. We're still talking about Kittle, and I want to come back to that.
Them trying to get all these contracts before they get Brock Purdy's contract done.
So, but real quick, would you be cool with like Cooper's washed, right? Devontae Adams is washed, in my opinion. Like they're both washed, like in terms of like being like a number 1, like offensive producing wide receivers, but they still bring a specific aspect to the roster. So, would you be cool with like a late round trade, like a 5th round, 4th round pick from one of them, or like maybe a straight up Debo for Cooper? You know what I mean? Something like that.
See, it's hard for me to say Cooper, like Devontae. I think I'd go after Devontae. I agree with you. T. Higgins is probably going to cost some money, and we only need a temporary receiver.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We already got Debo.
Yeah,
we agree he's washed. Yeah, but he's still out there. He's still got a name. He's still got his presence out there.
Yeah,
Pearsall showed some promise.
We got JJ. We just need depth and
we don't know when Ayuk's coming back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Look at who came back from the same injury.
But just CMC's barely healthy
this week.
Yeah,
but Hufanga came back from this injury halfway through the season.
Yeah,
and
got hurt again.
Ayuk tore more than Hufanga, so we might not even see Ayuk next year.
Yeah, true.
So I do think we do need to get that veteran presence.
Yeah,
a proven wide receiver.
Yes, So it wouldn't.
T. Higgins would be good because, like we said, Debo's going out. You know, he could be traded. He's also not.
So here would be
that's a possibility. There's still possibility to be traded.
So there's the moves. So if the 49ers made these moves, this would make me the biggest like dick riding 49er fan, right? If they got Myles Garrett and T. Higgins, right? So they go big defensive weapon, big offensive weapon, right? And then so imagine they gave up the 1st round pick, right? But they still got the 2nd and the 3rd. So let's say they go like heavy offensive and defensive line in the draft. They do. They have every round this year.
They do. They got 2 picks in the top 50.
Yeah, they got every round this year, and then
I think they got 11 and 40 or something.
Yeah, and they just have multiple like later on, like those two initial moves were like would be huge for me. Like I'd be like, okay, now you're coming in with like you got a facelift technically, right? So now you're going in like deep, like division wise. So now the Rams are like, okay, fuck, like this isn't just the same 49ers team. Now they got Myles Garrett on the defensive side of the ball, and they have T. Higgins. So again, right, whether or not Ayuk's there week 1, you put T. Higgins on the field with Juwan and Ayuk, CMC, Kittle. Look like Drake is fucking Strickland up now.
His nose.
Yeah, that'd be scary. But that would make me a huge supporter. But yeah, again, right, like you said, T. Higgins being a free agent, so that brings us back to the money discussion. And we kicked this podcast off with George Kittle obviously said that he is in discussion for a contract extension. And I know, and the way earlier, like I wasn't trying to interrupt you, I was just kind of like trying to be like the wording of it was you were saying like we know he's in discussion, like what's up with Brock Purdy, what's up with Warner. That's what I wanted to talk about, and then we got into to Garrett, right? Because I wanted to talk about that, right? Because I didn't know if you were, because I thought you were asking me like what's up with Purdy, what's up with Warner.
I think Brock Purdy's contract, and the reason I said they've held out or whatever with Debo,
they want to see if they can.
As fans, we're seeing Kittle getting his contract conversation right away. Well, Brock Purdy needs his.
Yeah.
So now we're thinking, they're going to make him wait. He's going to hold out. I think what they're trying to do is solidify everybody else so they know what they got to
kind
go
of
at Brock
wiggle
Purdy.
around. That kind of makes sense. But what I was going to say was, because we kind of touched on it, but we didn't really go too in depth on it. But the one thing is, and we have to say this, right? So whether or not this is like a organization slapping, how some people say, it's a slap in my face. I think maybe Ayuk has said that, like his first offer was a slap in his face. So you kind of earlier, I think you said, it's the organization maybe not taking the player serious. And then that's why these extensions take so long. Like, whether or not, I think we might have said, I was going to say, we've said that.
It's a business.
Well, we've said that if the 49ers want to have a successful season, that they need to stop that right away, right? So I don't know if Kittle coming out and just saying that he is in discussion means that he's the only one in discussion. I think they can have multiple discussions going on at the same time. You know what I mean?
No.
So Kittle's the only one that spoke on it. Is what I was just gonna say, and this was kind of like what I was thinking is that like most of these will probably fall like dominoes, right? So if they get Kittle figured out, then that helps them figure it out. Warner, hopefully. That helps them figure out the Purdy contract. You know what I mean? So I do see that. I don't think that it's as simple as like, they're not talking to Purdy at all. But
no, they've been in talks with Purdy, but
my also, and this goes back to like what I want as a fan, or what I want as I shouldn't say 49er fan, what I want as a football aficionado is that they don't. I really hope they don't pay Purdy. And I know last week you thought I was trolling you. It's not different stuff. It's the offseason. I think people were just speculating too. You know what I mean?
So with the contract now, it's like, hey, a short term,
I've seen that, 40 or something.
We'll give him, 120 million guaranteed, but it's like a 3 year.
So it looks big on
deal or something, and then the 4th year option or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I told you before is they could give these players contracts to where, a lot of their money's in the signing bonus and then, it's a big chunk at the end of it to where they trade him off or, just.
If that's the case, if he doesn't pan out.
Some of these teams, look, I think the Raiders still might be paying Jamarcus Russell.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how they do. That's how they make these contracts work is they'll push them out for 10 years.
Yeah.
Where Brock Purdy's still getting paid 5 years after he's done playing.
True.
So, and that's why I say, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get it, but at the same time.
So there is a world where
I do think the short-term contract that they're talking about now is a lot smarter.
No, and I agree, right? Like that's like if I had to say pick my poison, like hey Kyle, it's either don't pay Brock, make him play it out, or pay him the max.
Well, here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Last week.
So it's like I'm going in the middle,
The short-term contract wasn't on the table.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
max contract.
So now there's a middle option. So I'm like, okay, cool, right? Like it's kind of going in a better direction than I was hoping for. But there is a world, right? There is a possibility or a reality where they do, like how I think you might have just said this kind of you might have went in this direction a little bit, where it's like, okay, cool, look, we got this much money. Realistically, we could bring in this dude. We could bring in a Garrett. We could bring in T. Higgins if we tell Brock Purdy to just wait one more year. You know what I mean? And then we have a legit fucking super team all over again. You know what I mean? Like, the Brock Purdy contract isn't necessary to winning a Super Bowl this year. That's what frustrates me so much with the conversation, not with me and you, but like with the online like discourse, like with the media, is they try to make it seem like it's essential to us getting over the hump. It's like, okay, then what? Because of what? So if we don't pay Brock, he's gonna sit out. Then he becomes the bad guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I don't think Brock's gonna be the bad guy. I think if they were to go in there and say, "Hey, Brock, you're still our guy, but we're gonna make you play it out," I think he would say, "All right, bet," because I think he's that type of dude. You know what I mean? But again, it is a business, and I think they're gonna fucking pay him.
I don't think so, because he already said, he wants to get it done. Yeah, so I think he's gonna go in there like, hey, I'm.
Well, my thoughts towards that, I think that's more like agents, don't you think? Like the people behind the scenes, like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, the agents are the ones to say yes or no.
But I'm saying, like, Brock Purdy wasn't gonna come out and ruffle anyone's feathers and be like, we're gonna hold that out. Like, he wasn't gonna tell her, you know what I mean?
No, but
so he had to play it.
You got to look at it. He's got all these players, all these coaches coming out in support of him. So do you think, with that being said, he's going to just be like, oh yeah, just I'll take the $35 million. I'll take Sam Darnold's paycheck instead of Dak Prescott's. When
so you know what's funny? I see a lot of people talking about like how you see some people talk so highly of Brock Purdy. And it's, some other people in the media, like, obviously, like, they kind of stage that stuff. They kind of script that so they have debates, right? But Spagnuolo. Well, okay, so I actually just had this debate, right? Because
you didn't say give him a statue.
Yeah, but
I mean, I don't take Gruden.
Yeah, I like Gruden, but he's really entertaining.
Montana Steve Young come out and say,
no. So I talked to this guy about this, right? And I said, no, that's a vote of confidence. But if you look at his words, all he said was pay him. He didn't say like, oh, pay him a max contract. He didn't say, make him you know what I mean? Like, he didn't like say, you know what I mean?
Steve Young did say he was a generational player.
Well, Steve Young also said that Brock Purdy needs to use his legs more. Shanahan needs to call more RPOs. Okay, yeah. You know what I mean?
But he did say he was a generational player. He needs to get.
Yeah. But so like. What I was gonna say is like the NFL, a lot of it is mind games, right? Last year, going into the Super Bowl, Spagnuolo came out, and he was like, "Yeah, Brock Purdy has 0 weaknesses," and then everyone's been talking about like how
ever since then he's
like just kind of like, and remember like in all those little press conferences, they were like, "Hey, Brock, what do you think about Spagnuolo saying you have 0 weaknesses?" And it's like, it's all mind games, dude. Like, so we don't know, we've seen Brock Purdy like really deal with some mental shit, like more than most other QBs have ever had to deal with. It's a test of time. We'll see how, he fares after another year in the NFL, So like, one thing, like, I don't know if I'm repeating, like, I don't know if this is a broken record, but I kind of had this thing where I told someone, to me at this point, like, the only things I know for sure with Brock Purdy is that he plays really well when everybody's there, right? And over the course of 6, 7, maybe even 10 years, what we've seen in the NFL is that the quarterback can stay where they're at, and the team around him changes, right? You're not always going to have superstars at every position. We're one of the few teams that happens to have a superstar tight end, superstar running back, superstar wide receiver, superstar left tackle. So the only time I've seen Brock Purdy succeed is when all those superstars are on the field. So I was telling this dude, Brock Purdy had an opportunity. Like, so imagine 4 years down the road, right? Brandon Ayuk's old, CMC's retired, Trent Williams is retired, George Kittle's a Hall of Famer, he's retired. And Brock Purdy has a whole nother team around him, right? And then maybe he only has 2 superstars. Essentially, that's where we've seen Brock Purdy this year. We've seen him on the field with CMC and Trent Williams. We've seen him on the field with George Kittle all year. We've seen him on the field with Brandon Ayuk, right? Hold on. And I'm just saying, this is what I've seen, right? The 1 year when we seen he didn't have all of the pieces, the team wasn't that successful. Whether or not Brock, because that's the one guy was like, Brock Purdy had the most air yards in the NFL this year. I went to look it up. It's not a real stat. And I was like, maybe you're right, dude. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe he did. I don't know. That's not a real stat. You know what I mean? all I know is that he finished like 11th in total yards. You know what I mean? So he technically had like playoff QB numbers, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like the team didn't have success, you know?
Yeah, but
that's just what I've seen.
When you compare, and I don't feel like you could compare this year's stats to.
Yeah, there's factors,
to anything, because you're saying Brock Purdy needs all them pieces there. Not necessarily, because we've seen him be successful without Debo. We've seen him be successful without CMC. We've seen him be successful without AU. But when you got multiple of them pieces there missing, then that's a factor. If you've got one missing, that's not a big deal. But he had Debo missing the beginning of the year. CMC missed half the year. Trent Williams missed some time.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is all throughout the season, though. And that's why I say that, like, but there was points in times, and he did do that. He did do that.
Forcing that ball, scrambling out of the pocket and forcing that ball.
Is that what Montana said?
It resulted in the turnover.
Montana said that he thinks maybe Brock Purdy just kind of needs to ease up. But, okay, so then I go,
Montana said he did.
He forced it a little too much. But, okay, so that, to me, okay, cool, right? So I hear the GOAT say that, and I go, okay, so this was more on Shanahan, right? He called way too many passes this year. So then, okay, cool, right? Brock Purdy is best when he only throws it 25 times. Does that mean pay him $60 million? No. Does that mean pay him $40 million? That's when I'm going, okay, cool. So maybe Brock, so that's what I was going to say, like, I think, like, I've come to the realization that he is in that, like, middle range, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's when someone says, 3 years, 40, and I go, okay, maybe that doesn't hurt the team so much, you know what I mean? I go, okay, that's kind of my thought process now, you know?
I mean, so...
Because he had, okay, so you could call it forcing the ball?
No.
But Shanahan told him what to do, you know what I mean?
But now, that's telling me you're saying that you don't think he should get paid based off Shanahan's decisions. So, if he throws 25 times a game, he's successful, right? That's Shanahan calling the plays. But
the times he did that, again, that caveat was those other guys were still in the field. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is Shanahan called the plays. So when McCaffrey came back, automatically, the successful run game we had went out the window because McCaffrey went in. Shanahan made the choice to put McCaffrey back in, which hindered our offense a little bit, which hindered Purdy's play. You know what I mean? But Brock Purdy's getting the negative.
Yeah. I just think that it's so, like, isn't it so interesting that they, like, it's this, because if it wasn't for, like, the content creators, like, it wouldn't even be a discussion, you know? Like, if it was any other quarterback, they just would make him play out his circumstances. You know what I mean? Not for third string Mr. Irrelevance. Usually they don't get, you know what I mean?
He's a starter.
No, I know. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like, the circumstances of what led Brock Purdy to this current discussion. You know,
technically he should be lucky to still be on a team or a practice squad. You know what I mean?
Dude, you know what's hella funny, bro? I was thinking about this the other day. So that year we weren't recording it on the podcast, but we've been doing this, getting together for a couple years now. So that year they drafted Brock, and you talked about it earlier. You weren't really on board with the Lance draft because you said we already had a quarterback, right? So then we go on 2 years later, we got two quarterbacks. We still had Jimmy and Lance, and they drafted Brock. And I remember thinking, like, because at that time I was still thinking that we were going to come back and that this was going to be Lance's year. And I remember being like, bro, they did a YouTube video where in order to introduce Brock, like, to the fan base, and he went on the lake with the cheerleaders on a little rowboat, and he was so goofy and like you know what I mean? I was just like, bro, I hope this motherfucker never plays football for the 49ers, And then like we weren't recording the pod at that time, so I remember thinking that the other day. I was like, damn, if we were recording the pod, like we would have had that, because that my take on Brock back then was, this dude ain't never gonna be anything. Like, I hope he never plays for us, because nobody knew who he was. You know what I mean? And that's why his story is amazing, And at the end of the day, like, he is gonna be our best option for this season. So
I think he's gonna be our best option for a while.
Maybe.
Because again, this draft, I mean, other than being D-line and O-line heavy, you're limited on quarterback. You got
the dude
from Miami.
Hasn't it felt like it's been like that for a couple of years now.
I don't need to be honest, bro. I don't think Shador's going to be that good.
No, but nobody, honestly, like,
what's that dude's name from Miami?
Hayward.
Cam Hayward. Is it Hayward? No, Cam Hayward's a.
I don't know, but I was gonna say, like,
Let's be the number one.
Feels like the past couple of years, like the quarterback position has never been like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like where it's like, oh, this dude's gonna be the next one, and then when it is, like they try to convince us that this guy is. And I think that's just more about like tradition, right? It's like we have to convince people that this guy's the guy. Like they try to tell us Caleb Williams was gonna be the next coming of fucking Michael Vick or something, you know? Like, and then Jaden Daniels steals the show, and nobody was talking about Jaden. You know who was the only one talking about Jaden Daniels? Brandon Ayuk. You remember when he was fucking asking for a trade? Said he wanted to play with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Fucking, he told us right then and there. We kind of covered a lot in terms of that goes. I didn't really see too much 49ers news.
So have you been paying attention to like guys in the draft or like anything about the draft?
Well, I have, but like I was like on the last episode, me and you kind of looked at what comes first. So it's after the Super Bowl, the whole free agency market kind of kicks in. So I feel like that's like our next. After we figure that out, that's when we'll really be able to.
I'm just like.
Well, I've been so
we've kind of addressed like early on in the draft like positions we need, but now depth.
Yeah.
So
I've been saving like if I see like somebody's like, oh, this guy's interesting in the draft, like I'll save it, like you know what I mean.
So a lot of talks about Cam Scatterboo. You know who that is?
Yeah. The running back
for Arizona.
Yeah.
You know he started off at Sac State running back.
No.
He started off at Sac State before he transferred to Arizona.
I'm not.
So what I was getting at is when I see them when they talk about drafting him, they talk about drafting him for use check replacement.
Yeah.
You know, he could throw the ball, he could run, he could catch, he could do everything that use check was supposed to be able to do. Younger, less money, you know what I mean? And if we could get him in the third, fourth round, that's where he's projected to go.
And see, but a lot of people talk about like projections are again like.
Well, so put it this way: the only other is Ashton Gentry, and they're saying he's dropping out of the first round due to he had a fucking awesome season statistically, but when you look into the games they played, they were against smaller schools.
Yeah,
so they're saying
because he was at Boise, right?
Yeah.
No, so this is what I'm gonna say, right? Like this is where me and you will like when we go listen to this is where right now we'll sound like casuals.
But I think
we're only talking about the two running backs that everyone's talking about. You know what I mean? So like Cam Scatterbo is not going to be a 49er. Like I highly doubt it, right?
But there's a possibility.
Oh, there's a possibility that there's 500 people entering the draft. You know what I mean? Like, so what I was going to say is like right now, Cam Scatterbo had a playoff game where he had a couple huge highlights, and then a lot of 49ers, like one 49ers guy was like, oh, we should draft this dude. And then every 49ers content creator started throwing it out there. So it started getting thrown around, right? And then, so Ashton Gianti is the number one running back in the draft right now. You know what I mean? And we don't need a running back at number 11.
I know, but...
So what I was going to say is like, what I want me and you to do is like once we get through the free agent market, we'll kind of have a clear direction of where we think the 49ers will go with the draft. So, like, yeah, I think Cam Scatterbo will probably be a potential.
Because, like I said, Ashton Genty, they're saying he
might drop.
He's going to drop to the second round. So, if he drops, then probably Scatterbo is going to drop later on, too.
Yeah, and I always tell people this because remember last year in the draft?
What they're saying is the running back market ain't.
Remember last year in the draft, it was Luke McCaffrey.
He didn't get undrafted.
No, got drafted before the Niners could even get him.
He got drafted. Oh, Washington.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, isn't he? Luke McCaffrey. Oh no, yeah,
offensive
or Rookie of the Year, right? Wasn't he the best offensive wide receiver Rookie of the Year?
I don't think so.
He might be, or unless I'm thinking of the dude from Chargers, McConkey.
Yeah,
but Luke McCaffrey fucking balled out with the Commanders this year. But what I'm saying is like I remember me and you being like, oh, like hopefully the 49ers get this guy, or like because that's what we were like kind of being spoon fed like on the internet, you know, and then 49ers never had a chance. Like, so I like now I'm like, man, these dudes are that good. Like, we're probably not going to get a chance to get them. But this year we're picking a little bit higher. So I do see why some people are saying like,
well,
You know, like we could have a chance.
The only reason I say Scatterboo is because I never even thought to make him, you know, to pick him up. Besides, like after the content creator started saying it.
Yeah.
To be honest, my brother was the first one to bring him up.
Like prior to like the big
to,
highlights.
Yeah.
That's the shit that I like to hear. I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Like, you know,
told me, what about Scat? You know, what do you know about Scat Pack? And I'm like, you go Scat Pack. What do you think about Niners picking him up? I'm like, who the fuck is Scat Pack?
Yeah.
Scatterbo, and then I like started looking into him, started seeing his highlights, and like I said, bro, we both say Juszczyk needs to go.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the main ones we say needs to go, and if we could get his replacement, you know, with somebody that is not only a fullback, but you know, very versatile.
Well, he's not a fullback; he's a running back. So actually, no. But I wanted to ask you though. So let me ask you this. And not necessarily
draft him to replace.
I know. Okay, but let me ask you this though. No, but let me say this, right? Fullback position has to go. So you're not replacing Juszczyk. To me, Juszczyk. What is Juszczyk technically? Because I mean, you had this discussion where we talk about where I said, hey, he's only on the field for 50% of the snaps. And then I was saying to get rid of him, and you were like, well, then you have to figure out 50% of your offense changes, right? And so I understand that, right? But what does Juszczyk actually bring to this team? He's not the best blocker. He's not that big. Like, he's not a power runner. Now, Scatterbo is a power runner.
And the only thing that Scatterbo don't.
So what I'm saying is, like, he wouldn't be replacing Juszczyk. He would be an upgrade, but
so he'd be
a running back. So to me though, if they do draft him, it's gonna go like this: it's CMC, Garendo, and then it's gonna be Scatterbo, because we don't know if Jordan Mason's coming back. You know what I mean?
So what I'm hearing is Jordan Mason to Pittsburgh because what's his name might be gone.
Well, Jordan Mason's a free agent.
Yeah.
So a trade or not a trade, but like a
just yeah.
So like they're not gonna buy him. Well, I mean, they're not gonna pay him.
Niners have to match. Niners could match. He can't go nowhere unless the Niners say.
Oh yeah. I heard somebody break it down. So, you know how they did Juwan last year? Like they gave him that
their contract before
And what did they called it? A second round tender or some shit?
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what Jordan Mason's gonna get, or something like that.
So if Jordan Mason gets a second round tender and he goes to Pittsburgh, we get a
second round pick,
compensational pick.
Oh, nice.
But who's fucking Pittsburgh running back right now? The dude from Concord.
What's his name?
Najee Harris. Najee Harris. So I think he's a free agent. So he might be leaving. If he leaves, they're saying Jordan Mason to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So
which would get us a compensatory.
Yeah. But there's a thought process where like, okay, so like this of the name, like when we say Scatterbo or whoever, they still need depth at the running back position. But here's the thing though too, right? There's a possibility that Juszczyk ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? So this motherfucker, we might have both these guys on the team if they do. But last year, me and you thought they were gonna draft fucking Frank Gore Jr. You know what I mean? Like we thought they were gonna get all these dudes, right? So I always feel like every time like we think the Niners are gonna go one way, they flip the script. You know?
I guess I'm not trying to.
No, not you. I'm saying
but
you know how they try to like the Niners like.
I guess what I'm trying to get at with this kind of more of a hypothetical, like how would you feel? And
I would like it.
And you said it's not replacing Juszczyk, it's upgrading.
Yeah.
And
I'll just get more technical, yeah.
No, but we feel like he'd be a running back, but in Shanahan's system, Shanahan runs a fullback.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But my thing is, though, I'm thinking is if you're bringing Scatterbo to do what Juszczyk does, then you're wasting him. You need to bring Scatterbo in to do a lot more than what Juszczyk does. You know what I mean?
What I'm thinking is, with Scatterbo being younger,
yeah.
You got to think we got Juszczyk 4 or 5 years into his career. He came from Baltimore, so we already got.
Let me ask you a question.
We already got an old Juszczyk. So
let me ask you a question.
Let me finish real quick, because but if we get a younger guy that's capable of doing the same stuff Juszczyk, don't you think we'll utilize it more?
Oh yeah. No, well I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, yeah.
That opportunity, is there to be able to utilize that position more.
But again, that's why I say then that because I see somebody say that too, and I'm like, well, if that's the case, then Shanahan's not going to change anything. He's just going to use him like he would use Juszczyk 50% of the time. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I'm saying like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't bring him in to replace Juszczyk. You bring him in as a running back. You know what I mean? And you give him the opportunity to play running back.
Maybe having him in that Juszczyk utilization production might be pulled up more, you know.
That type of player.
So
yeah.
with you saying Juszczyk's on the field 50% of the offensive plays. He's not 50% of the offense.
No. Kyle Shanahan's system requires a fullback. So what I'm saying is if you just quit relying on the fullback and we go more two-back sets, you got CMC and Scatterbo out there.
Yeah.
Scatterbo's running and blocking, right? So essentially he is doing a fullback job.
But have you seen like some trick plays where offenses have a fullback?
Oh, like Detroit's, like with Jameer and the other dude.
You could watch them on just highlight plays where, they fucking quickly hand off to the fullback, turn around.
Yeah,
and the fullback takes it and busts it, but you think everybody's focused on the running back.
What I do like, because Juszczyk, even for being a fullback, he's not a power runner. He's not big, you know what I mean? He's kind of small. Like, he's a good blocker. Like, so we need someone. That's the thing I think the 49ers lack too this year. Past couple of years is like a legit power run. A lot of our runners are like shifty, like agility type runners, you know?
Not only that, but if you think about it, when we had Mostert and who was the other one? He went to
Breida.
Matt Breida. Yeah. They were good. They were good blockers.
Yeah.
They would sit in the backfield and block, so our passing game was a lot better too.
So I wanted.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why Shanahan never really focused on the O line because we had blocking at the next level too.
Well, and that's why Kittle isn't one of the like obviously one of the best tight ends in the NFL, but offensive like production wise, he would have had crazier numbers if Shanahan's system didn't require his tight ends to block so much, you know. And George Kittle's always happened to be one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. But real quick, I want to ask you this though, right? Don't you think it's funny that every time a white player has any type of like success or swag, he belongs on the 49ers? Last year it was Cooper DeJean. Everybody thought Cooper DeJean was going to be a 49er, you know what I mean? And then we got CMC, we got Juszczyk, we got Kittle, we got all like the best white players at every position except wide receiver, you know what I mean? Like technically, we have the best white running back, we have the best white tight end, we have the best white.
Because some could say Travis Kelce is,
but he's not. Super Bowl wise, but Kittle's a way better tight end, like blocking and full all around, you know. Kelce don't block for nothing.
But at the end of their careers, if their careers were to end, say after the game tomorrow, I think Kelce gets in Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, Kittle. You know, Kittle.
Ballot, no question.
Kittle doesn't even have a right now. First, I think I saved it. Did we not talk about this in the last pod? About how his how he compares to Warner. Like Warner's stacking up to get a first ballot over Kittle right now. 49ers Hall of Fame consideration. Big step for Fred Warner. Warner with 4 All Pros and his 28. Kittle stuck at 2 All Pros and his 31. Every linebacker with the 4 All Pros has made the Hall of Fame since 1973. 2 out of 10 tight ends are in the Hall of Fame with only 2 All Pros, Mike Ditka and Charlie Sanders. Which, again, right, this is just like technical, like fan stuff. But again, I feel like that's on Shanahan. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I just think that's really funny, you know, that we're like the fucking home for all the prominent like white players now, you know?
I think New England was for a while.
Yeah, it's us now.
New England, they had Julian Edelman, they had another dude,
Wes Welker, Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Even their running back, Whitehead.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Rex Moorhead? Yeah, Rex Moorhead at Whitehead.
Moorhead. Cortez like
giving head.
Moorhead.
Oh, Moorhead. Let's see what else. Oh, so apparently Brandon Staley and Nick Sorensen will no longer be for the Niners. Did you see that?
Yeah, Staley went.
You already got picked up?
I think so. Or one of them got picked up as a DC somewhere, I thought.
George Kittle talking about his negotiations. I haven't seen either of them being picked up yet. Yeah, Nick Sorensen no longer expected to remain on the 49ers coaching staff per Mayoko. You seen the 49ers sign Brant Boyer, special teams. And they just brought in some other dude.
They're stacking up their defense.
Oh, Gus Bradley.
Yeah, they're stacking. So Saleh was a linebackers coach under Gus Bradley as a defensive coordinator.
So you know who gave Gus? You know who gave Gus Bradley a vote of confidence?
Carolina?
No, Seattle.
Seattle.
You know who gave Gus Bradley a vote of confidence?
Saleh.
No, like personally to me, Jamie Winborn.
Did he?
He was like on the post, like I seen he commented, like something like about like, oh, it's a good dude, like big move, you know. He's like he was my coach. He was my coach, and I was like, I went on there, I was like, that's all I needed to hear. If you say he's good, and he was like saying, like he said something like, yeah, he's a leader. He knows how to handle people well, like, you know, just pretty much saying like, hey, you know, it's a good pickup, and I was like, that's good enough for me. You know what I mean? If Jamie Winborn says it's good enough for me. I wanted to show you this, Ray. It's relevant. A lot of our podcasts, we do these predictions before. We talked about, again, like you think the Eagles are going to win. I want the Eagles to win. I think if the Eagles let the 49ers lose, if the Eagles let Kansas City three-peat, I've been telling people that the Eagles should be the first team to have to go to Canada because they started the three-peat. They let fucking the Eagles beat them the first time. So apparently every team that has lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season has never won a Super Bowl. So it's called the Kirk Cousins curse. Teams that lose to Cousins in the regular season never win the Super Bowl. So the Eagles lost to Kirk Cousins, it looks like week 2, 21-22 to the Falcons earlier this season. So 2016, Green Bay lost to Kirk Cousins. They lost in the wild card. Rams, 2017, lost to Kirk Cousins, lost in the wild card, so on and so forth. Every single year.
None of them made the Niners.
Yeah. Niners made it to the Super Bowl and lost. We lost to Kirk Cousins, what was it, week 8 last year when he was on Minnesota? And then
lost to fucking
this year.
Lost to your boy this year, Sam Darnold in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Week what? Well,
week 2. It started early, it was week 2, and then we lost to the Rams the following week. This guy. So again, right, like sometimes we spit, you know, we get this, we start talking too fast. We are gonna talk draft, and me and you've been talking about like more ideas and stuff that we want to do for the pod. So like I was just saying, like once we get through free agency, like me and you will have a clearer picture. And then so when you do see like Chase Senior, or like I know you listen to Kruger, you do what's the other guy, Brad Graham, when you see them talking about draft prospects, like take a note of it so we can look it up, so we can actually be like, because as we get closer, they're gonna give us the information. I don't know how to fucking.
So Brad Graham,
you know what I mean?
Brad Graham was at the Senior Bowl.
He's like an O lineman guy too, right?
Yeah, he was at the Senior Bowl this year, so he was out there checking out all these prospects. Right now, they're if we're just going into the draft, no free agency, we don't get Myles Garrett, we don't get whoever. They're saying some edge rusher out of Ole Miss right now.
I haven't heard his name yet.
Yeah, because I mean Abdul Carter's
probably gonna go too early.
But there's a lot of fucking edge rushers right now that are edge rushers and D tackles that
I heard one dude was breaking it down too. Like, you know how like what happens is like in the draft, like a lot of teams will go on a run. So like, who's picking number 1 this year? Do you know off your head?
New England?
Is it New England or New York? I think it's New York, right? But like, let's say New York goes, you know, for whatever reason, let's say they go fucking offensive lineman, right? And then, so let's say whoever picks number 2, they might not need an offensive lineman, so they go defensive lineman. So then that's the highest, like the 2 best players in those positions are off the board, right? So then you get into pick number 3, 4, 5, right? When the best players go off the board in those positions, that's when you start getting into the runs, right? The runs. So like pick 6 or 7 might be like the second offensive lineman, right? Or the second tight end or whatever. So then what will happen is like 8, 9, and 10 will be all fucking tight ends. So now all the tight ends are gone. You know what I mean? So then that gets us to pick 11 technically. So there is a potential that depending on what position the teams go on a run, like the 49ers are going to either have their shot, you know, hopefully at one of the trenches, you know, defensive line or offensive line, you know? So because there is going to be a quarterback that gets picked in between 1 and 11. Might be 3 or 4 quarterbacks that get picked in between 1 and 11. But I'm saying we don't like fucking teams take. We know weird, for sure too. And teams take weird fucking shots, right? So by the time we get to pick 11, there might still be a really good edge rusher or a really good offensive lineman.
What I'm saying is there is going to be a good Defensively, there's going to be a good.
Yeah.
Offensively, I'm kind of out on drafting an O-line that early, unless it's like a fucking one of the guys from Texas. Or,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the top 3
Yeah.
O-linemen. Otherwise,
it's like if those 3 are there, then fuck yeah, you know?
And just listening to shit.
Yeah.
The 2 quarterbacks are out. Miami's quarterback, that Cam Hayward or Cam, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter.
Villar.
Those are probably
That's the other QB, right? A lot of people are saying
those 3 are going to go. Those are going to go the top 3, and then you probably got Abdul Carter going 4. Then you probably got them offensive linemen. You know what I mean? Maybe that other quarterback, like you said. So probably a D tackle. So at 11, I think we go for defensive line or edge rusher, depending on how free agency plays out. Now, another name that's been brought up that we didn't bring up in free agency, there might be a possibility besides Garrett, is Max Crosby.
He's not a free agent.
Well, he wants a trade.
No, he don't.
Yeah. He requested a trade.
Fact check that. He did not. Nah, yeah. No, because no. Seems locked in with Pete Carroll. He's been posting shit with Pete Carroll. Like, so the other day, somebody asked him about Diamondor's tweet, and he fucking laughed at it.
But you got to take that with a grain of salt because until.
Well, because what's he gonna say, right? But here's the thing, though, right? And this is what I tell people. Me and you've talked about this, and I know I've said it on this pod. But we talked about the last pod when we got into edge rusher discussions, we kind of talked about like how the edge rusher when we talked about trading Bosa, why I think it's available is because I think like that position is there's like a lot of depth in the NFL at that position, right? Now, I am of the belief that Max Crosby isn't as good as people try to make us think he is. I think Max Crosby is the best player on the Raiders. And I think that the reason why he thrives on the Raiders is because he's the biggest personality on that team. And I think that if he goes to a team on the 49ers where he's like the 10th personality, I don't think that's going to do very well. You know what I mean? But you see what I'm saying? Like, do you think I'm wrong for thinking that? Or
I mean,
I don't think he's that good, bro. I think Bosa's better than him.
Yes and no.
I think Bosa's 10 times better than Max Crosby.
Yes and no, but to counter it and why I say the no part on why I don't think, I think he's better than being the best player on the Raiders because he goes up against these other teams and puts up numbers.
Yeah.
If it was just looking good in practice, then yeah, but he does look good on the football field defensively.
Well, I know, and I said that, but the edge rusher position. There's 2 edge rushers on every team in the NFL that put up numbers just as much as Max.
I'm gonna say 2 because look at
well, not every team, but I'm saying like what is Matt? Okay, so earlier we're trying
to find somebody to match up with both.
True.
We haven't been able to do.
True. Yeah.
Detroit lost his name, and they didn't have a second one. You know what I mean?
Well, they traded for him.
Well, yeah, but they didn't have a second. So.
And that dude's coming back, so I don't know what they're gonna do there, unless you know what I mean. So
what's his name?
Aiden Hutchinson. And then they got Zaire. Is it Alexander? No, yeah. So like, personally, like I've been telling people, like honestly, like I think Max Crosby to me, like this is just my personal opinion. I think he's the type of player where like he knows, bro. The Raiders have been crap for a long time, right? If he's that good, or if he really wanted to win, he would have went to another team a long time ago. But I think he likes the fact that he is like the Raiders are his team. Like even when they're not good, like he has Raider podcasts. He has like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna say, like, I feel like any Raider player buys into the Raider culture. So they're, regardless if they get traded or not, they're Raiders for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just to change the subject.
Diamondor's been fucking trying to recruit everybody. You see that shit?
Yeah. We're talking about Max Crosby.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, Raiders had that player, the gay player, right?
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought it was Max Crosby, bro.
Oh, like to this day?
I'm just saying because it was when Max Crosby was like a rookie when they had that.
Yeah.
That gay player was a rookie. He was like a wide receiver or something like. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
So I thought it was Max Crosby for the longest time, bro. Yeah. Who knows? He might be.
I think he is, to be honest. I don't like him. I mean, and again, right? It could just be like I don't like gingers. You know that. fucking hate Sam Darnold.
I thought that was funny, bro. I thought when he first came out, I thought he was the one that was openly gay.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, no, I think he's pretty much. I think,
nothing against gay people, bro. You're all right.
I think Max Crosby.
Just keep it in your bedroom.
I think he likes. Like, I don't know if it's that he likes being there, but I think he's just pretty much like, okay, like you said, like I'm a Raider for life. And again, right, it's his team, so he goes anywhere else, especially to a contender. It's not his team no more. You know what I mean? And no, but Pete Carroll in his press conference said that they plan to make plans having Max Crosby on the team, and I've seen them putting videos out together.
I might be taking Myles Garrett's words and
swapping them around. Yeah, Myles Garrett straight up said, like, I want to play for a contender.
Be part of a rebuild.
Yeah.
I might be. Yeah, you're right.
So I got a few things we can kind of just react to. I think they'd be pretty funny. Actually, I thought this one was pretty funny, dude. This one made me laugh. So this is like the AI they put like celebrities as quarterbacks in the NFL. This shit had me dying. You didn't even see Diddy.
I've seen Diddy on the Browns.
That's Anne Hathaway as Derek Carr.
Oh, that's
fucking Little Mermaid. I mean, not Little Mermaid. What the fuck am I thinking?
Hey, so what do you think about the Debo and the?
I didn't. There's nothing to it.
The AJ Brown.
Been best friends for a long time. Now, but today, this is one of the dudes I was telling you about. He's an offensive. He's a guard. Armand Membo. So like, if I see some of these, like I'll save them. Just so we can cover them. Like, people just throwing out like prospects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can bet on HVAC competitions now. National HVAC. See how easy they slide into Cortez's butthole?
What do you think about the Rams supposedly getting rid of Stafford?
I mean, it would help the 49ers, but that's not going to happen either.
No. So they said Cooper Kupp's on the trade block, right?
Yeah.
Well, Cooper Kupp and Stafford are good buddies. And now Stafford's on the trade block.
I haven't seen anything about Stafford, but all I seen was that his wife was like talking shit on the internet, but everyone says she's a dumb bitch anyway. So I mean, that'd be like the 49ers just getting rid of Brock Purdy. I mean, the Rams have made some big moves in the past, but I highly doubt they're just going to get rid of their best option at quarterback. You know what I mean?
So how you keep saying you feel like, all these bad draft picks are catching up to us right now. I think that's what's going on with the Rams, is it's hitting them. They sold out and got Aaron Darnold and
okay, but hold on,
and Dominican Sue.
That was 4 years ago. They won a Super Bowl. They didn't go to the playoffs for 2 years, and they were back in the playoffs this year. So they've already had like
they didn't have that rebuild.
Yeah, they did.
They never rebuilt after that.
Well, they've rebuilt with minimum resources though. It's like, but they rebuilt.
Saying is now they're getting all that capital back.
Yeah.
Caught up to them to where now they're in a full rebuild. They're getting rid of their quarterback. They're getting rid of their receivers. They're going to be.
True. Yeah. They still got to. But the thing is, so it's really interesting, right? Because one of the probably on our next podcast we'll kind of do look at it like this too, right?
Because they won
the West this year.
Last year they were in the playoffs,
and they were in the playoffs last year. So they missed 2 years without the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl. So they lost all those players, and then they
didn't, because Darnold just retired last year.
2 years ago.
Well, last season.
Yeah. So and then he only came back for one more year, and then that was it. And then so they got that really good running back, right? They drafted that dude, I think. They got a young defense, so they've been rebuilding, but with limited resources, right? Puka Nacua, fucking.
But what I'm saying is,
Puka Nacua is the best wide receiver in the NFC West right now, if you think about it. Yeah, the only thing that they didn't hedge their bets is a quarterback. So if Matt Stafford goes down, they don't really have an option for that.
Well, no, what they're saying is either the bridge quarterback is going to be your boy,
or Darnold,
or
because Garoppolo's gone now too.
Well, his cousin's going to get cut.
Yeah, he might be a free agent.
Darnold's a free agent.
Yeah,
so, and what they're saying is Stafford going to Minnesota.
Maybe.
Minnesota rather take Stafford.
I like those types of, if it does happen, I like that type of shakeup in the NFL. Makes things interesting, But I just don't see the Ram so they won the division this year barely because Seattle won 10 games as well. So technically, like if you're saying like, hey, we've already proven we can win the division, right? Which is technically all you really need to do to get to the playoffs. I just don't see them getting rid of their best option. You know what I mean? Unless like, who knows what the return is? Like maybe they're gonna get like maybe they get somebody else to like help them, but they just went to the playoffs. I don't know. It would be crazy if they did that. I think that would be insane. That would be more insane than the Luka trade. Oh yeah. No. Like I said, like I see some shit about his wife was talking shit about the organization, but I don't know if it was related to that at all.
I think she was because that he could be traded.
Yeah. So we on this podcast we've talked about the Brock Purdy butt recovery. So you know about the Mark Sanchez butt fumble.
Yeah.
You know about the Jared Goff. I had to show Ray the Jared Goff dick pic. Look at you seen Cooper get ignored by LeBron. LeBron James thought he was just a random white guy. That's Cooper DeJean. He thought he was gonna get his hand shook and everything. Look, man, fuck. Oh, check this one out. Oh, he's still trying to get up like nothing happened. It sounds worse when it sounds on. That ever happened to you? Where you just like something happens and you fall down and you try to get up like you're cool and like nothing happened?
Nah, you know what happened to me one time playing basketball? Is I caught a fucking knee to the eye, bro.
Ooh.
Like it was the loose ball, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I was playing lazy basketball to where I didn't run down to the end of the court, and something happened to where the ball came flying over. So I'm on the other side of the court though, like it's on this side, I'm on this side. And so I started running over there to get it, and some little dude runs over there to get it and bounces. So I kind of got a jump for it, but he fucking got like a good running start. And when he jumped, like he jumped with his knees up, and I jumped, and I knew we were gonna collide, so I kind of like curled a little bit, and just his momentum just brought his knee right up into my eye.
Hell, did you have a shiner for a while?
Dude, big old fat one.
So the NFL is allegedly looking into switching to an electronic system to measure first downs next season. To me, I saved that because to me that's no duh. Like, what the like? Why are we taking this long to fucking institute technology into the football field? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but are they gonna have it to where the referees could go and over?
Well, my thing is, if there's a computer chip that says it crossed, what can you know what I mean? Like,
is there a computer saying it's crossed, or is there the referee's just going to place the ball and then the meter is going to be like the measure thing below? Because
so this is how I imagine it, right?
They can still put the ball back to where it's behind them.
Well, this is how I imagine it. So if it's all electronic, the play's live, right? So as soon as that ball crosses the first down,
so you would have to have sensors on the ball and on the.
That's essentially what they're saying, right? So, and I remember them talking about this years ago for the touchdowns. Was that as soon as like that sensor set off the cross the pylon, because then it would eliminate the human error. You know, like, oh, we can't see the ball on the replay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. Well, the fucking sensor went off. You know what I mean? I don't know. No duh news. That's something I wanted to call no duh news. Lastly, Magic Johnson spotted donating blood to babies at a Make-A-Wish hospital. What do you guys think about that? Are you taking Magic Johnson blood, Cortez, if you get in a car accident?
Huh?
Here's the biggest hit you'll ever see in any sport.
Yes.
Damn, bro.
Damn, I got hit that hard right now.
I would have been out for like 6 business days. I would have used all my PTO.
I know that shit hurt, bro. Fuck that.
Whoa. Pause.
Cortez. Come on, rapper.
What do you mean?
Aren't you a rapper?
So let's
the beat on.
Let's put our official rap.
I'm asking, aren't you a rapper?
Yeah, what about it?
Wrap your lips around his dick.
Hey. Put our official bow on this episode. So tomorrow is the Super Bowl. The NFL season is officially over. The 49 Problems episode or season 2 is a wrap. We will be back soon, and tomorrow, like again, right, as a 49er fan, this is the worst possible case scenario. I'm fucking burnt out every year. It has been fucking since 2019, right? We lose the Super Bowl. 2020, we have a terrible season. 2021, championship game, right? I didn't even want to watch the Rams play the Bengals. 2022, fucking Brock Purdy gets hurt. I didn't want to watch the Eagles play the Chiefs. Still did. Last year, 49ers go to the Super Bowl. We lose that. This year, I finally decided that I'm not boycotting. Like people were saying they're boycotting, essentially. But me and my girl are going to get a head start on a Valentine's Day. We're going to go on a date tomorrow. Cortez is going to go on a date with Ray J. Garcia.
Take his ass to the fucking waste management and dump him off.
So here's my official prediction for tomorrow, right? There's going to be a bunch of entertaining football, right? Because for the most part, the Chiefs and the Eagles can be pretty entertaining. They're also kind of boring, right? Like the Eagles with their tush push. Like that's why I'm not really looking forward to this game, right? Like Saquon is going to be an entertaining factor if he can stay on the field. Hopefully he stays healthy 100% of the game. Hopefully the Chiefs don't figure out a way to shut down the run game of the Eagles, because I feel like that's the only way the Eagles lose is when their run game gets shut down, because Jalen Hurts isn't a real quarterback. So, yeah, my prediction for tomorrow is that it's probably going to be a one-score game, like all Chiefs games. Every flag that gets thrown, people are going to complain and say it's rigged. And then there's probably going to be a turnover at the end of the game, and somehow the Chiefs are going to walk away with their three-peat, and Travis Kelce is going to break up with Taylor Swift on the field, and they're going to gangbang her. The whole team is going to gangbang Taylor Swift on the field on live television. That's my official prediction for tomorrow. Ray?
I think both teams are going to lose, but if one has to win, I want it to be the Eagles, because they could only beat us in regular season, maybe a playoff game. Chiefs beat us twice in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did Eagles beat us? The Eagles didn't beat us in.
Yeah, they fucking
Did they beat us?
broke Brock Purdy's shoulder. Remember?
Oh yeah, that was what's his name?
They kicked off the three-peat for the Chiefs. Cortez, official prediction for the game. We'll be right back.
It's gonna become drunk.
All right.
Fuck the great Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, fuck.
He's gonna win because it's bullshit.
Yeah. Chiefs will forever ruin football tomorrow, and hopefully this is it. Hopefully this is the beginning of the end of the Chiefs dynasty. But like I said earlier, they're not showing us any reason that they're slowing down. So until they do, it's Chiefs Kingdom.
Can't do it. They're both gonna lose, but if one has to win, I hope it's the Eagles.
Yeah. But what we can do is
the only reason I hope it's the Eagles is just to top off Saquon's year.
Well, and just to never,
because I ain't got a dog in this race. You know what I mean? I'd rather just see as a fan of the sport.
So is there's two interesting thoughts. Because you said you don't have a dog in the race, right? But as a fan of NFL, for some reason, like I don't want the three-peat. But there's fans that do that aren't Chiefs fans. There's people that want the three-peat. Weird.
Here's my thing, man. I feel like if they three-peat, bro, like it's gonna put so much more emphasis on Patrick Mahomes. And don't get me wrong, Patrick Mahomes is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He ain't no Joe Montana. He ain't no Steve Young. He ain't no Tom Brady. He ain't no Kurt Warner. You know what I mean? He ain't no Dan Marino. He ain't no Jim Kelly.
But look at all those names you're comparing him to.
He ain't again. It's been the team around him.
Yeah.
You say Brock Purdy needed all these stars, but
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes had a lot of stars. He's had the fastest receivers, the fastest running back.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt left, came back, got to win a Super Bowl with them right now.
Yeah.
I believe it. Is it Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, Kareem Hunt.
It is Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So he's always had good running backs.
Yeah.
He's always had good wide receivers. You know what I mean? Although they do change. It's not the same one.
Yeah.
He does it with different teams, but they are stars. It's not like he's doing it with scab players.
I think what makes us, like, the two things that I think makes a lot of people say, like, not like Mahomes, like, for sure, right, is
His
the
voice. I talked to Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, that and right, so like
and his wife.
That, so the five things that people like, you got the flags, right? The flopping, yeah, that one too.
That's
no
six things that.
So like the flopping, you know what I mean? Like we've seen it with Brady, right? When the tuck rule, the deflate gate, like the cheating, like those were the things that I think like people really didn't like Brady for, like because like regardless of what he did on the field, you were like, oh, he cheated. You know what? Like the tuck rule, whatever, right? With Mahomes, most recently, we've seen him actually flop. And it's like, this is fucking stupid, bro. This dude's a pussy, right? And then on top of that, the other thing that I think is so easy to be like, oh, Mahomes isn't this or he isn't that is I don't know, I lost it. I was gonna say something and then I lost it, but the flop and I hate when I do that shit. It was good. It was gonna make good content,
bro. Mahomes throws picks in clutch situations just as much as anybody else does.
I'm gonna say, and I told him to this earlier, right? What frustrates us the most, right, is the flopping, right? The penalties and all that shit. It's the fact that the major difference between the Chiefs now, like the past, say, like this past 2 years of run, like going it, because now it's kind of like 3, compared to like when they first beat the 49ers and when they first, like, they went on some good runs those first 2 years before they lost to Brady and the Buccaneers. They don't dominate nobody. Every game.
Well, they dominated the Niners in the Super Bowl.
No, I'm saying since then.
I mean, we were beating them.
You're talking about the first one, right?
11-0, and then they 21-0.
You want the first one?
Both of them, they fucking scraped us.
Yeah. I'm saying since those first
we came
2
back.
years.
We had to come back.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, we played from behind.
Led the whole time. And then Chiefs came back. Remember Shanahan gives up big leads?
Yeah.
No, I was saying, like, since they won their first Super Bowl, like, they were dominant. The next year they were dominant. But these past couple years, right, now that they're a dynasty, right, they haven't been dominating. And I think that's what makes them so frustrating. It's like, dude, you see all these teams literally have a chance to win. Baltimore Ravens have a chance to win. Isaiah Likely, fucking foot barely on the line. Josh Allen has a chance to win. Fucking Eagles gonna have a chance to win in the Super Bowl, just the last Super Bowl. 2-point game. You know what I mean? I think that's why we're like, dude, like, these guys aren't like the GOATs of these other teams, because the GOATs in the past dominated. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why Patrick Mahomes gets so much shine, is because he does it with different teams, but they're all superstars. Bro.
Yeah. He makes them superstars, bro.
No.
You don't think so, bro? Because look, to me, this is what this.
Smith-Schuster was the star coming out of Pittsburgh.
But this is what's always defined elite quarterbacks, right? Is the fact that they bring everybody up around them, and that's one thing Mahomes does, right? He has interchanging pieces. The only constants that he has had on that team has always been Kelsey
and the O-line
and pieces of the O-line, right? Because they've interchanged too, right? Like Joe Tooney came from New England, so I was gonna say Chris Jones on the defensive side of the ball, right? He's the only one that's never left. Like, he's been there this whole time. So it's always been Chris Jones, Kelsey, and Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, like the pieces, Tyreek Hill leaves, they bring in 3 new wide receivers, and they still win a Super Bowl. I can't remember who the running back was. It wasn't.
They had Kareem Hunt, and then they had the other dude that got the DUI.
That was with New Orleans, right? And then So to me, that's just what's always like. So if Mahomes didn't have these Super Bowls,
and then before that they had the dude the Niners had, the Niners never gave him opportunity, but when they did, he got hurt.
Yeah,
and then he went back to KC.
Okay,
he's a running back.
Yeah, to me, I think, like, even if Mahomes didn't have these Super Bowls, like, that's what kind of like would be like, oh, he's an elite. Like, that's what makes Josh Allen still part of the elite.
Who's that running
for the Niners that went over there?
He came from Kansas City, went to the Niners. I think he blew out his knee, and then recovered, and then went back to Kansas City. When we had Mostert, and he blew his knee out, man. He was supposed to be hella dope. We signed him.
Jeff Wilson Jr.?
No, it was around the same time as Jeff Wilson. We kept Jeff Wilson Jr.
If we signed him and he never played for us, I probably don't remember who he is.
He played he played, but it was very like...
The only people I remember playing at that time was Jeff Wilson, Breida, and Tevin Coleman, and other dude.
I think we brought Tevin Coleman back to replace him when we got rid of him.
I can't remember.
What year was that, 2020?
I don't even know. But I think we should wrap this one up real quick. I need to start telling people to like, subscribe, follow us. We've been doing YouTube, Spotify. We got all that. It's all online. So please give us that like and that follow. We would really appreciate that. Instagram, RGDC Podcast. Give us that follow. Follow us on YouTube. 49 Problems, Red and Gold Cortez, Jay Cortez.
Ray J. Garcia.
Kyle J. Vigil. Who got it better than us?
Nobody. Red and gold till I'm dead and cold.
As always, fuck the Eagles and fuck the Chiefs. Fuck